the snail mail
Yep.
to email and text. And sometimes that's not reliable.
Yes, we will probably, obviously, i.e. call them. I would prefer a phone call. I do, so for example, this attempt of the government shutdown that just happened, I informed my employees in person, to let them know, hey, if it goes in effect, here's your letter. This will be the day that you will not report to work, and i.e. I will call you. Our policy says that I will literally go to their house right now and show up. I think that's going to be a lot of time consuming for me to do that, to go to their house or send them a certified letter. So it'd be faster as our current policy right now for me to show up to their house. So I figured I would call them, email them, and text them. I figured.
Does your email allow for an automatic received
If they set up their email, it's up to how they set up their email.
how they do?
Yep.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with it.
As right now, we do emergency tree calls down, and everybody responds. So everybody does respond by call and text through our organization as of right now. But I feel like I would text them to tell them to check their emails so they know they had something in their emails, because emails is more of a legal binding obligation, just in case.
Any other questions for Amanda? Prerogative of the board, would you like a motion for Thursday or a consent agenda?
Consent agenda?
That
CA
works.
is fine with me.
CA, works for you, Amanda?
Yep.
Consent, okay.
I do have something that I wonder if I could add. I do have a fee change to my family planning program. Am I allowed to bring that up now? Or do you want me to bring that back up on Thursday?
It'd probably be better if it was brought up on Thursday.
Thursday?
If it wasn't on the agenda, we
Okay, yep.
should wait till Thursday.
All right.
You'll have more information on it?
Yes, and I'll just give this information now for Thursday. I'll ask for a motion on Thursday for that. This is my keys.
Oh, I see.
I
Okay.
got the information from. So our Connors.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Amanda.
Here's one, Amanda. In case you need it.
Amanda, will you also email one of those to me so I can put it in the packet? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Okay, Thank you, Amanda. That completes agenda item 1. Moving to agenda item 2, families and children together, the fact presentation on Bridget McCaughey, Chief Executive Officer.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Bridget McCoy. I'm the CEO of Families and Children Together. We're a community-based support organization that is currently running in Genesee and Saginaw County, and wanted to bring this to the board's attention today because we're looking at the opportunities about exploring Tuscola County as another resource for us to be able to support community organizations and our families that are in need. In your packet today, you have a presentation that talks about what FACT does, and then also an outcomes page that gives you an idea of the impact that we have made thus far in Saginaw and Genesee counties. So FACT, its goal is to help families who are in crisis, to keep them out of a CPS or child welfare situation. And if they are in a child welfare or foster care situation, how can we make that experience different? And in doing so, we provide an 877 helpline. We have 2 hubs. So we put hubs in each of our counties in the highest areas of CPS activity, kind of in line with families who are in crisis. We're closer to where those resources and referrals would be. We are a resource and referral service. And so what that allows families to do is come without any kind of need for an intake, but they can make a call and we can help them get to those resources and referrals that they need. And then continuously follow up with them so that we build a rapport. And then we're able to have that support throughout whatever their crisis is, or even ongoing if they have questions or concerns. In addition to that, we offer monthly community caregiver dinners. That's an opportunity for families. It doesn't matter if it's open to anyone in the county, where they can come and have a free meal. We do an activity. We try and do activities in the community places we will go that maybe a family couldn't afford to take their family to a movie or to, we've done all kinds of different things, roller skating, we have different support groups. And then at the end of the evening, we always give a family a caregiver bag that has cleaning products, personal hygiene items, or personal care items. Things that if they had to make a decision between purchasing food or purchasing cleaning products or personal care items, they're always going to choose food first. Got to feed your family first. We also do community events. So for example, next Tuesday, we are doing our Loads of Love event. That happens on a monthly basis where we provide free laundry. So 3 free loads that families can come and get their laundry done. We also give them snack bags while they're waiting, and we also provide bags. So a lot of times families bring their laundry in garbage bags, and we want them to leave with a canvas laundry bag that they can reuse for future purchase or future laundry visits. We also have, especially in Saginaw County, we have an education liaison, and she is just that. She advocates on behalf of their families, especially children who have IEPs that may not be followed. She helps to advocate for that family because a lot of times families don't understand what that IEP is or 504 plan is. So she is there to be able to help navigate that with them. And then also just be a support to that family as well. So those are some of the things that we've been focusing in on. In our hubs, that is a community space that is open to anyone in the community. We have an online scheduler. I invite you to go and visit our website. That allows us time for those families or professionals who may be traveling, that their office is across town, families are closer to our hub. They could do a family visit there. They can do a therapy session there. They can host support groups there. It gives us that opportunity for an additional space for that organization to be able to have maybe a landing spot for a couple of hours. In addition to a family visit, they can also get some work done as well. We see that a lot with our in-home school providers in Saginaw. Because they're so mobile, they need sometimes a spot just to have a table to do some paperwork or get on your laptop. So all of these things encompassed together provide that family kind of that wraparound support, additional services, and additional space for not only our families, but our community partners to be able to come and utilize the service. How we have created these hubs, how we've created these sites in Genesee County is solely based on community feedback. And so this morning, we just want to be able to introduce ourselves and then be able to help see how we can explore the opportunities for us to work with our community members, our community organizations, to be able to support the good work that's already being done here. Any questions this morning that I can provide?
Have you communicated with Rachel from our Great Start Collaborative? It's a program for young children, and they deal with food insecurities and different things on some of the programs that they use, or the local DHS.
So that's where we're starting to explore is with them. Actually, how we were introduced is New Light, the foster care agency here in Tuscola County, is actually using our hub space in Flint for their families to do visits. And so just having that conversation and starting to understand some of the additional needs and supports for us, that looks like that would be something that we could offer. I always try and preface the fact that, and happy to provide any of our referrals, it's not our intent ever to come in and take over what's already been happening, but to enhance what's already going on. And I think that's what's really important. A lot of times when you come into a community, it becomes a situation where we're trying to take away your funding. We're trying to minimize what's already happening. It's quite the opposite. And for the last 18 months, we have really grown in support and in camaraderie with our groups. We actually host envisioning groups once a month where it's any and all community organizations can come and listen. In fact, one is tomorrow morning. It gives us the feedback, but it also gives everybody else the opportunity to maybe collaborate amongst 3 or 4 organizations to create a program or to have an event. And again, it's all in the name of trying to support our families in the best way we can.
Do you have a facility here yet, or have you
No,
been
I do
kicked
not.
out?
No.
So you're gonna do your
So, yep,
networking and
we're
find
gonna
out
do
first?
networking, so, the suggestions that you provided this morning are great for us to be able to continue reaching out and, start that conversation to see, because again, we want to be able to have a hub space that would maximize support for the county. And it may end up being more than one, when it just depends on how much feedback we have.
Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
can you tell us how you're funding this?
So funding comes from DHHS, private funds. We currently have funding from both Flint, oh my gosh. Genesee Community Foundation, and then we also have Saginaw Community Foundation. We have Hemlock Semiconductors, one of our partners or our funders. And then we have private donations from our former consultants that have been in child welfare for 50 plus years. So it's a combination of funding sources that we have to be able to support this kind of organization.
Any other questions? Well, if I may, so this is basically an introduction to Tuscola County of the fact, and that have you done anything with our DHS, HDC, any services within Tuscola County? Because I know you're from Genesee, Saginaw, in that direction. I know your intention is to integrate and maybe provide some services, and I'm not familiar with all the services that we offer, but it's a plethora of services. Are you going to find that challenging? Are you planning on meeting with our DHS in the county? Is this something that you're considering?
Absolutely. So, one of our first connections in the 2 counties that were established was with DHHS. We have a partnership with them that any of their lower risk cases to where there may have been CPS involvement and that case was closed, they refer them to us for those ongoing prevention services. So we have regular connection, especially with their prevention departments, to be able to collaborate and coordinate services. They also utilize our hubs for visits, for foster care visits. And so it's really important to be able to have a good connection and start building that relationship here in Tuscola County in order to make that successful.
Are you engaged with any of the behavioral health agencies as well?
We have not been engaged with the behavioral health agencies as of yet.
Okay. And from all your offerings and experience, what do you see or sense Tuscola County would benefit most from the services that FACT would offer?
I guess it would be, the introduction of more resources, because what we find is we don't know what we don't know. And there are organizations that if they had the opportunity, possibly have a small satellite or an office to be able to come to, they would bring their services to out to Tuscola County. So it's an invitation. I'll give you an example. In Genesee County, Clio, Michigan, everybody knows where Clio's at. Clio is a resource desert of sorts. And I say this because the bus line, MTA bus line, stops in Mount Morris. So there's a lack of transportation getting to and from Clio. Once you get into Clio, there are churches that have been, doing an incredible job with resources and supports. But the organizations in Genesee County are committed to just that, Genesee County. And so we have been able, in partnership with one of the Clio Community Church, to be able to bring our partners that we have that are just down the street from us up to Clio, to be able to bring trainings, education, and that has started to enhance that service and support for those families. Those seeing that in action, seeing that be such a positive effect to what our organization is doing and how we're bringing those community members together, we see the same thing that we could replicate here in Tuscola County. Are there going to be challenges? Yes, absolutely. But our intent is to try and bring more resources to the county for families to be able to have access to.
Well, those are my questions.
Okay.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any others at this time? Well, thank you for coming in. We look forward to further updates and integration. I know we have a lot of services in the county. I think one of the most mysteries that we have is the clearinghouse of how these all integrate with each other. That's always been a challenge because the services have grown. Hopefully, you will be part of that
Yes.
and hopefully offer some services that are not currently offered. But thank you once again on behalf of the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Thanks again.
Agenda item number 3, Equiture contract and invoice, Steve Anderson, Emergency Services Coordinator, and the interim 911 Director.
Morning, Commissioners.
Steve?
So this is just a quick re-up on a contract. It's a 10-year contract. We're going into year 3. It's for $8,154.18. It's pretty much all that way except for year 6, which there's the equipment upgrade, and we pay a little bit more that year, but then it falls back down to the $8,154. So this is the equipment that does all the recording of the emergency lines. So there's records of things. So this is just renewal.
Any questions for Steve, the board?
Is CA that?
The consent agenda?
Yeah.
All right with you?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Number 4, request to purchase 8 GIS tablets. Larry Zapp, Mosquito Abatement Director.
Morning, Larry.
Commissioners, you may recall last year, we began the process of fading out our paper map system to do our truck fogging throughout the county. Excuse me. And we decided to go with a company called Frontier Precision to purchase some GIS or GPS tablets to outfit all of our trucks. As we began that process, it was suggested to us by Frontier Precision that we only purchase half of those tablets at one time. We kind of do a 2-phase implementation of these tablets into our program. And I'm really glad we did it that way because it took some time to learn the system. It took some time to train our employees. And I got to say, it was a really good decision. Our employees and our staff really took to the technology, and it's just been great. Frontier Precision has been wonderful to work with as far as their IT support and their products. I can't say enough good things about them. I want to thank Mary Ann Daly, our seasonal office clerk, for taking on this project and helping with everything involved in it. She's just been a tremendous help with it. But starting this season, we're beginning that second and final phase of these tablets. And I'm just requesting today to purchase the remaining 8. That's going to be at a cost of $37,896. This has been budgeted for in our 2026 budget. And we're very excited to get all this in place for this final phase. So I'm just requesting to purchase those 8 remaining tablets.
Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
is there a contract with these?
Pardon?
Is there a contract with this?
Yes, we actually have well, I guess you'd call it I don't know if you call it an invoice contract, but we agreed to purchase 16 tablets total from Frontier Precision. And the first phase, we purchased 7 of them. And this final 8 will take us up to 15.
So is there a warranty with these? I mean,
Yes, there is. Frontier Precision has a 5-year warranty on the tablets, and they give a 3-year warranty for any kind of possible upgrades or any kind of damage to the tablets. So they're really a reputable company to work with. I know Bay City, Midland, and Saginaw County, they all use the same company as well, and they've had nothing but positive things to say about them.
so in the first 3 years, they'll upgrade these for nothing if they need upgraded?
Well, any kind of upgrades, we actually pay a fee to them every year as far as upgrades, any kind of servicing or anything like that. It's a one-time fee each season that we pay for them to upgrade that. So.
Larry, I'm sensing that with the pads and the GIS, that it's going to be much easier to identify organic lands for no spray zones compared to the past. And
Yes, it's been so much easier. I really thought my technicians would really have trouble adapting to this because they were so used to their paper maps. I have technicians that have been running the same routes for 10 years and longer, and they were kind of set in their ways. And after we showed them how to use this, and now they can strictly focus on the road at night. They can look over at that tablet and see that they're going on the correct route. There's actually an alarm that goes off inside the tablet that the driver can hear when they're approaching an organic field or property. So it gives them a heads up when to shut off. And then after they clear that area, another alarm goes off and they can turn back on. It sure beats pulling over to the side of the road at the middle of the night, turning your dome light on, trying to figure out where you're at and where you turn on and off. But it's made quite a difference in what we do. I'm hoping I know it will make us a lot more efficient too, for sure.
for those who aren't organic certified, that's a question I wanted to ask as soon as I heard it, because we were just recertified, and this is a box we can check off because one of the intensive 15-minute discussions is how do we know that the mosquito abatement or spraying is not down the roadsides, and it's always been a struggle. That is a box we can check.
Absolutely. I'm happy.
Especially
to check
the
that
alarm.
box. I don't know if you recall, but in the past, we put up a lot of yellow no spray signs. If you were an organic farm, we would put a no spray sign. It's a square yellow sign that reflects at night. And as the driver is going down the road, his headlights would see that sign, and he would know when to turn off then, as well as his paper map. But what I like about this system too is it's going to make our technicians more versatile. If we have a technician up in one of our northern townships, and things are kind of quiet up there, but yet, say in Millington Township, we're really seeing a lot of mosquito activity. We can take another technician and move them down there to help out for a night or two. and they don't have to worry about being unfamiliar with that area. They'll simply just have to follow the tablet and they're good to go. So we're really, really excited about that.
Any other questions from the board? Consent agenda,
Yeah.
satisfactory?
Yeah.
And number 5, Larry, request to hire Marianne Daly.
Yes, I'd like to request to bring back Mary Ann on February 2nd, pending a background check and a physical. I need to give Mary Ann some time to work with these new tablets, as well as update all of our no spray areas in the county before we get started for the season. And it's a very important task to get done, and I really need her there to do that.
Any questions from the board? Consent agenda as well?
Yeah.
But I just have one question. It just dawned on me. I know you lay off, they're seasonal. So every time you bring somebody back, even though let's say they've been there 5 years, you're going to bring it like Marianne or whomever. They go through a physical and a background check? They redo that every time?
Yes. Every time a seasonal comes back.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I just.
Yep.
Because what are they absent? Maybe 3 months?
They're usually laid off from October, usually the second week of October. And I usually have my foremans come back about mid-March, and they start prepping more equipment and putting signs up and making sure everything's in place. So, yeah, it's usually a 4 to 5 month.
Okay, well, just curious.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Appreciate it.
And moving on to item number 6, Economic Development Corporation, EDC Board Appointments, Jody Fetting. Perhaps Jody is with us this morning online, and she is.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is just to do some appointments. We had 3 members of the EDC board that their terms have expired, and one is in the middle of the term, but they have indicated to the EDC board that they are seeking to retire and no longer participate in that board. I've been working with Jim Tussey regarding these reappointments and the names that they have requested to be in that reappointment. And I believe that should be in your agenda packet here. Oh, it is not. I apologize for that. So we do have 3 members. Let me see if I can find that really quick. I didn't have that up. I was thinking the email was in there. So with that, the first request is that we accept the retirement resignations of John Tilt, Bob Wolick, and Rose Putnam, effective December 31st, 2025. State in expressing our appreciation for their long-term service on that board. My second request would be that Corey Guzzo be appointed to the Board of Directors to fulfill Rose Putnam's partial term, which would be effective January 1st of 2026, expiring December 31st, 2026. And then the third request would be that Damian Wasik and Jenna Tito be appointed to fill the spots of John Tilt and Bob Wolick for 6-year terms, effective January 1st through December 31st of 2031. And I would be comfortable having all 3 of those matters be placed on the consent agenda for Thursday, if you would agree to those recommendations.
Any questions for Jody?
No.
Placed on the consent agenda for Thursday?
Yeah.
It is on the consent agenda, Jody.
Thank you, Commissioners. And I'm not for sure if Mr. Tussey is in our audience today.
Don't see.
You-
Tim and I were talking, he was planning to attend today. In our email, I had put the 11th and error of the 12th, and I haven't heard back from him. So if we could move the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority update to a date and time that I can get coordinated with him. We're looking to possibly need to reestablish that authority board, but he has the background and the information regarding that request.
All right. He's obviously not on virtual, so we'll move
Okay.
ahead with that.
I will work with Controller Administrator Dibble in getting that rescheduled.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. I know that they were very eager to get that taken care of because of the brownfield to reactivate it.
Yes,
Thank you for your assistance on that.
you're welcome. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that was number 7. Maybe we'll come back to 7, maybe not. Well, she spoke of number 7, the brownfield redevelopment, but we have a request for the board appointments that will be on Thursday for a motion consent. Number 8, Tuscola County People's Building Room Reservation Form, Erica Dibble, Controller Administrator.
Good morning. We have been working on the rental agreement for the People's Building. It's been handled or went through a few different people. It went from several pages long. We tried to make it more condensed, but also include all the important information. So we have a draft there for you. If you would like to provide any input, or if it's adequate, we can approve the form.
Questions from the board?
I have one. Go ahead.
Did we discuss this as far as a fee?
We did
I can't remember,
That
sorry.
was
We
my
did
question.
not come up with the fee. There was multiple discussions about said fee. I know that we do offer it at no charge for certain, for government entities or nonprofits during normal business hours, right? However, if it's after normal business hours and we need to have maintenance or cleaning crew or any additional services from our IT department, there would be a fee, and we would have to coordinate that with any of those other departments.
If that's the case, I think a sentence or paragraph should be put in there for a possible fee, maybe. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Or a section requesting IT, will you need
Will you need any additional services? Sure. Any other feedback?
Oh, then that looks great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I should say what I'm going to say now, but it's great.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
It's
no
okay.
problem. If you go down to, no, I don't, it says liability insurance must be provided at the time of request. My first thought, is there a standard amount of liability insurance you're going to request? What is, going to be $1 million per occurrence? What's thoughts around that?
Again, we tried to shrink the form down, so we removed all of the details. So again, it would depend on the entity and the type of event. So do we say subject to board approval? Do we say a minimum amount and then additional may be required?
Well, normally, and I'm not an attorney, usually it's $1 million. There's a set amount, an additional may be requested depending on the event. I wouldn't leave it just at their discretion. So you might want to look into that just for the county, to protect the county and anything that might happen there that would be associated. And of course, the county would be, if there was any legal action, the county would be in line with that legal action. And just below it says alcohol smoking and vapes are not prohibited.
Oh, are not prohibited. Oh,
You got double and.
Is that what you intended?
but it should say are prohibited. Again, so, yep, there's some typos on
And,
there.
and the other.
And then are not prohibited.
Oh,
So
I
it should say
appreciate that.
are prohibited.
I realized that we had a very successful New Year's, well, I'm hearing it's a successful New Year's event there. And I'm very encouraged because we had talked about this application, but I'm even more pleased now that, alcohol could be served, but it could be on a case-by-case basis. I mean, but smoking usually is not, and as you just said, I'm not sure. I'm not up to speed on vapes, so.
We were cautious about putting a line where is alcohol going to be served, yes or no type question,
Yeah.
because that invites it.
Yeah.
So we were encouraged to say it is prohibited, and then obviously if the event such as that, the board could overturn that and say it is allowable. So I guess that's up to the board. How would you like that written in there? I don't want to invite alcohol, but there are occasions such as the New Year's Eve party where it is indeed on premises. It was not served there, but it was on prem.
So that leads to the Me Too clause in legal, which I'm not a lawyer, but typically if you have a precedent that you allowed it at one, especially a major event like that, it would be hard pressed if someone wanted, in my world, it'd be hard pressed legally to enforce like, no, you can't have it, but they can. And it's all kinds of, and I'm bringing this up to the board just as a conversation piece. It's just, I don't know how to handle that. That'd be a legal question, but the precedent would certainly stand if somebody wanted to. Otherwise, I don't know why it wouldn't stand, and why wouldn't somebody not be able to have alcohol if a previous event that was pretty large did have, but that's just a thought I had. Go ahead.
Has this modified version gone to be reviewed by the attorney?
Not yet. I wanted to bring it to you first for any of your input, and then I'll take it to legal.
Because I have some concerns about even the liability insurance. I was wondering, just before you had asked the question, is there a place to note who that liability insurance is provided from? If this is condensed and it's very short, which is nice, but it lacks some information that
And what do you mean provided from? Like the
who the
renter?
carrier is.
Well, I would assume that they would provide us with a copy, so that would, the carrier would be on
Yeah,
that.
and it would be attached to the form, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there shouldn't be a place down here to write that down, so it's all on the same form.
I see. Well, we went from a 7-page form down to 1. I mean, I'm open to have it be a 2-page or a front to back, but we
Yeah.
also don't want it to be so in-depth that no one is willing to
Yeah.
complete the application fully.
I think a front and back, because by the time you get your attorney involved in some of the clarifications on this liability and the
Yeah.
alcohol, you're gonna have the back covered.
And with the New Year's Eve party, we had a clause in their agreement that stated because alcohol was being served, they needed to have security and the level of security that was required. So they actually had a MCOL certified officer there between all of the buildings. He was not dedicated to our specific building, but he was on premises for the event.
Which really, go ahead.
Can I ask her?
Oh, yes, please do.
I think it might be a good idea to get with Mr. Ransford and as far as the amount, because I mean, it's his building, we're leasing it from it. But I think I agree with Vice Chair Bardwell. I think $1 million would be the minimum.
Now, is this going to be the case for all uses of the room? So for example, a an entity, like the health department, they have their own room, but let's say they have a big event and they want to use it. So would they also be required to provide us with their liability insurance, and would we become additionally insured? Would Ransford, Wassick, or Meritage become additionally insured? So it gets muddy.
Right.
And then let's say it's an afternoon baby shower. Are we going to require Susie homeowner to provide us with $1 million insurance policy to use our building for a baby shower? So those things, you know, how deep do we want to go? So we tried to keep the form light so it would go on a case by case.
No, I understand that. I don't have a problem with that.
So for example, Wells Township Hall, and I know because I'm a Wells Township resident and I've used their event, you are required to provide, add the hall on your homeowner's insurance for one day, for that day. So it cost me $12 to add them to my liability insurance for one day for an event that we had there. So that was acceptable to them. So, I mean, I could use some of the Wells Township language, but that would only cover for, again, it was a graduation party. There was no alcohol. We were there for 6 hours. If I was going to have a alcohol-related event, I'm sure my insurance company would have charged me more than $12. So how deep would you like us to go, and how tight would you like the agreement? Or do we have a
Ladies and
clause
gentlemen.
that says answer these following questions and it has to go to the board? And then every decision would have to come to the board. I believe the intent was some of those decisions could not have to come to the board. Somebody wants to use the building, they meet the requirements, we approve it, they use the room. We don't have to bring every single item back to you.
Can I ask another question?
Yes,
Since we
Commissioner.
have had it open, how many people have requested? Any? Besides the New Year's Eve?
Not many.
Okay.
Even all internal departments,
Right.
the people who had, Drain had a meeting there, so they're all like internal.
With the treasurer had some training there. Deputy Anderson, did someone else didn't an outside authority, police chief, something?
Yeah, I mean, we use it for fire chiefs meetings. I've done some law enforcement training. I got another law enforcement training with a prosecutor coming back to do some training here. But it's all, I'm renting the room,
Right.
so.
Yeah, that's where we have our hazmat, right?
Yeah.
Can't we do it on a case-by-case basis?
well, my thought, if the board wants to hear my thought. Because it's not co-joined, co-owned, whatever, we got the Ransford, Wassick, and we have the county who pays for it. I mean, that's an important aspect. But as I listen to the discussions, we're trying to craft something legally that we're not really, as a board, competent or have the background to do that. And I would suggest, because it opens up a liability to the residents and to the county, that we have our legal, pose that to our legal group and ask them to develop a contract. It's very hard to find a contract that's a one-pager anymore. So I'm not worried about the length, but what I do as a board, I think that we need to consider is the fact of what it doesn't cover and what it covers. And I understand that the county employees using it as one type of usage, an outside event. We have to have an agreement that covers the full spectrum, so you don't have to have $1 million for someone in the county or something. So that is my thought, versus trying to craft it, because sooner or later, the last thing you want is an agreement that doesn't have any teeth in it and that you find yourself as a defendant. That's my concern. Whatever that agreement looks like, I think it's a great opportunity, but whatever it looks like. The other clause, the other sentence that really doesn't fit in the contract is notification of building grounds and cleaning and completed, yes or no. That's a separate process internally versus in a contract. So I know this is a pro forma contract, but that was just my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of crafting an agreement that would substantiate not only the interests of the owners of the building, but certainly the county. And whatever would happen, I think we all would agree that if it was, let's say it's alcohol and somebody got in an accident and it would come back, not only would the owners of the building be defendants, but the county would be as well. And especially the entity serving it. So there's a lot of questions that if you're familiar with contract law, that, which I am not, that just opens up more questions. So that's my thoughts, and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, you can.
I think it's a great start. But I think, you know, I agree with you. But I think on the other hand too, we don't want to make it too long. But if there was a front and back, I guess I think that would suffice with the things we're talking about. But just my input.
I think there needs to be some more information on here, because otherwise you're going to be coming back to the board for an approval on all of the exceptions. And do we need to list Bell Wassick or Wassick on here as hold harmless as well? Because they're the building owner. We're listing.
That's a legal question that I always look at it. What is this? What is
I'm sure they have
defendable?
liability insurance too.
I'm sure they do. And it would fall back on both liability. Well, good discussion. What else? What else do you want to discuss about it?
Well, I will send that, I will make some of those edits and then send it to legal along with our lease or whatever the agreement we have for the People's Building, so that they, even though I'm sure they were involved, but I will send it to them as well so that they can assist with any of those disclaimers and or liability concerns.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, any further questions related to the forum for renting out the People's Building? Very nice facility, that's for sure. Number 9, Road Commission presence requested. Mike Tuckey, Jason Root, William Green, and Road Commissioners.
Obviously, they're not here.
I did know that.
I met with the road commissioner at the reorganizational meeting on the 31st, and basically mandated that they appear. I can share with you that Chairman Laurie indicated to me that he did not want his people to be sent here to be browbeaten. So they're not here. I reaffirmed with the new chairman, Julie Matuzak, who was elected chairman at that meeting, to confirm whether somebody would be here today or not, and she said that they would not. She did extend to me, which I've communicated, her interest in setting up a committee, 2 people from the Board of Commissioners, 2 people from the Road Commission, to sit down and hash through some of the issues that have been going on and how we can address them. She also recommended, and I know she's meeting with Steve at one of the meetings with the ambulance space, I think.
Yeah, so she's coming to the fire chief's meeting tomorrow.
Fire chief's meeting. And that's her initial intro to trying to get together a pilot group or a focus group, talking to that group first and then putting together a larger group from Tuscola County that would follow up on the meeting that was held in November at the State Police Post to address some of the issues with the distracted driving and all of the other issues. Following that meeting, I did meet with Brent Dankert, who is the highway engineer. I met with him for an hour and a half on January 6th. And we sat down, he was telling me different things that they were doing and explaining how processes work. So I've got some notes here, and I think they might answer some of the questions that might come up later on, if you wouldn't mind me going through these. Is that okay?
Pleasure of the board?
Yeah.
Yes.
We brought up the issue of Mayville, the speed limit on M24. That was one of the issues that was brought up. Mayville speed limit on M24, MDOT received no resolution from the village to move forward on that project. MDOT can't pursue the study until they get a resolution from the village of Mayville to proceed, indicating that if the study finds an average speed that is higher than the currently posted speed limit, that the speed limit will actually go up instead of coming down, as is the request. That study is based on the 85th percentile of the data results, the speed captured in the study. The speed limits can go up or down, and the village has to agree to accept the findings if the study is done. To date, the resolution has not been received, so the study can't move forward. That has been brought up before. Speed studies. An MDOT crews from Lansing are sent out to do the study, and they have a 3-month-ish window to complete the study, but that's weather and workload dependent. Speed studies come from the State Police Department, but are initiated by the township via the Road Commission. Michigan State Police had 50 troopers in the 3 counties. That number is down to 20 for the 3-county area, and that was mentioned at that November meeting that we attended. They are short-staffed. They only have 1 Michigan State Police officer who works on the studies, and that's in our multi-county area. Brent does have a meeting with that individual scheduled. County speed studies have to be done first to provide preliminary information to state police so follow-up studies can be pursued. Michigan State Police goes through and does studies on the county roads. There's currently a 7-year wait on some of the studies because there's only 1 person doing the studies and they're backed up. We talked about signs. He indicated if too many signs go up, they become white noise. They become insignificant. They become transparent. You don't notice them because there's so many of them. At problem intersections, additional signage is added each time there is an accident evaluation and data to support it. Once there are multiple signs in place, the next step is to move on to an overhead flashing light if the data supports this. Costs of the overhead caution or stoplights, in addition to the legacy costs for ongoing maintenance and electricity. A wooden post system cost $50,000. A steel post system cost $75,000. That's for one of the big overhead. We talked about rumble strips. Michigan requires 3 sets of rumble strips. The problem with rumble strips are sound, noise, impacted at nearby homes, motorcycles. Rumble strips can cause motorcycles to lose control, and Amish travel. And I think about this, because of the high Amish population, we have to consider the impact of multiple strips on Amish horse and buggies. We have a large Amish population. They move, purchase property around the current areas, and we have to consider that they might be traveling on that highway at some point in time. Rumble strips can do harm to the horses, and you can't limit Amish expansion. County road improvements. Bray Road has seen a reduction in accidents due to an overhead flashing caution light and 4-way stop, which was installed following the sequence of added signage in response to accidents at that intersection. The Road Commission, when paving roads, tapers the edges at an angle instead of leaving the roadway edges at a 90-degree sharp angle. The taper allows tires that wander off the edge to safely regain entry to the roadway, whereas pavement edges without the taper would resist the re-entry and cause the vehicle to abruptly divert, possibly into a ditch or tree. It costs us more in asphalt to do the taper, but it's something that improves safety and benefits anyone who happens to run off the edge for one reason or another. It's called the safety edge. Regarding paved county roads, meaning local roads in the township, municipalities make decisions on whether they have white lines marking the edges of the roadway or not. The Road Commission is currently working on plans and projects into 2030. That's how long the planning process is spanned out in order to better coordinate local projects and complete related jobs to ensure the project is complete and doesn't require tear-ups 2 or 3 years down the road. Over the past 8 years, Tuscola County has obtained $3.3 million in safety improvement grants. Brent Dankert, Chief Highway Engineer for Tuscola County Road Commission, is currently serving on the Michigan Highway Safety Task Force. The intersections, he talked about the difference between systematic and systemic fixes. There are currently 14 intersections that are in line for safety studies in Tuscola County, which is in addition to all new road projects that are planned for each municipality, all bridge and ditch projects. There have been several references by county commissioners and others about 11 accidents at Herds Corner and Deckerville. In reality, there were 6 accidents in 5 years between 2020 and 2024. Sheridan and Saginaw roads have had 23 crashes in that 5-year period. Brent requested accident data on 11 county intersections from January 2025 to December 9th of 2025. The report was 31 pages long, single-spaced. This is the Tuscola County data and does not include any Michigan State Police data. In Tuscola County, there are approximately 1,500 intersections. There were 2,058 crashes from 2020 to 2024, which occurred at 437 intersections. So approximately 30% of the intersections in Tuscola County have had an accident in that 5-year period. He also went on to say that Herds Corner and Deckerville could potentially become a 4-way stop if it warrants. He also indicated to me that as we were looking at the rumble strips, that it could also be one that could have the ground-in rumble strips. The county resolution question, county resolution that we authorized the Road Commission require a work request form to be completed and submitted for all projects by anybody. County commissioners did not submit a work request form, and if they did, that doesn't mean that those projects would be approved. All work requests are reviewed and studied in accordance with current procedures. Not every work request is approved and completed. There are multiple times when the request may be denied as it may not be in line with current policies and procedures of the Road Commission. Respective townships had already requested a safety review for the respected intersections. The process was initiated by the townships. He went on to reiterate, no work is done without a work request being completed. I asked about private entities doing the work. What a private industry, I said, what about a private entity coming forward and paying and installing rumble strips and lights? He said this would require a permit, and if a permit were requested, it would be denied as per our policy. All work that can be done by the Road Commission forces shall be done by the Road Commission unless at the sole discretion of the Road Commission, the project is approved to be bid by a private contractor. So that might answer some of the questions that have come up. I had a very good meeting with him. We went on and met with Indian Fields Township on a project that they were bringing back to life on Boy Scout Road as well. So I accompanied him to that meeting. I went out in my journeys and talked to Guilford Township, and I asked them their opinion, and their opinion is that they would like to see a rumble strip, the ground-in type, placed at the stop signs, and even would be leaning towards having it done at all stop signs. That was their impression. And they would be leaning on towards looking at helping to pay for that as well. And that's the consensus that I've heard from most people is they want to see the rumble strips done because of the distracted driving, because the issue is distracted. This issue was a distracted driving issue where the person didn't stop for the stop sign. The road commission's concern is, does it become white noise if you have rumble strips on all of the stop signs? And that's beyond my pay grade. I don't know how that's technical questions, but this is some of the information that I brought back that I thought was helpful for everyone to know. Is there any interest in going ahead and having that 2 people from the county commissioner board and 2 people from the road commission to sit down and hash through some of these things? I don't think that's been done before.
I would love to see them.
We have just a moment. Does the board have any response?
I'm not interested in it.
I do. One thing, we didn't say was inviting them here to browbeat them. We want
No,
to know.
you didn't say that, but that was
That's
his
what they
impression.
said, though. That's
Right,
the impression.
right.
We want to know what they were doing. What are they doing? I mean, you
Well,
know, and as far as the work order goes, Millington Township put that in 3 years ago. They said they don't put rumble strips in. So I'm not buying that either.
Well, this is what I got from him. Now, I got from this board, Nancy, do you know who the people in charge are at the road commission? I'd gone to, I think, 4 meetings at that point in time. So you people were kind of putting me on the spot, like I didn't know who the people in charge were. And I have to tell you, at this meeting, Jason Root turned to me as I was speaking and said to me, Nancy, I'm confused. I didn't understand why they were asking who was in charge over here, because all of the people on the board have called me at one time or another to ask me questions, so they know who I am. So I'm a little confused. And I said, Jason, that wasn't intended for you. That was intended for me to show that I might not know who the people in charge were here. So I have spent extra time there. I have worked with them and I have talked to them. And so the next question is, where do we go from here? They don't want to come here. They feel that they're an independent board elected. They handle their own things. I think Julie is open to having some more communication to resolve the relationship. You people have been working on this. You said, Commissioner Vaughn said, for 9 years, kicking the can down the road. I'm new here. This is what I brought to you today, explaining some of the things that I was told. How do you want to go forward?
Anything else? It would be a pleasure of the board. I'd like to find out if Chairman Vaughn is virtual in this morning, because I know he's done considerable work on this in the background. Is Chairman Vaughn available?
I am here, yes.
Well,
I'm here, yes.
pleasure of the board recognizing Chairman Vaughn for his insight.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Chairman.
On the first thing, okay, let's talk about the policy for a minute. I'm not against putting a couple commissioners and a couple of the people out together in a room and try to work this stuff out. But according to the statute, we have all the power to look at their policy and help them write the road commission policies. There's things in there that should not be in there. Then, well, we'll just say, hey, no, we've got to go. This is what we want to do. But again, like I said, it gets pretty technical when you talk to appointed and elected. You know, they have some issues in there, but we need to move forward with which way we want to go. And you know, and we may want to start with putting a couple commissioners together with a couple people on that board, where they can sit down and have some serious conversations before we move where we think we might have to go. I don't know.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Just for clarity, and I know that you've been researching and you've talked to legal. We're talking about House Bill 5125. It was introduced in 212, something like that. But anyway, as I'm
Yeah,
reading, go ahead.
PA 14, PA 15
Act 14.
of 2012, right?
So it comes to what I'm looking at, and it was provided this morning, I think. I just flipped it over. Back in 2011, it ended up, and I'll just read it, to establish a county road commission, to establish, this passed by the Senate 2018, to establish that a county road commission can be eliminated by a county board if the road commissioner's members are appointed, and eliminated by a vote of the people if they are elected. If either happens, the county board will assume the duty of managing the county road system. To your knowledge, is that the last of the legislation? I mean, that still holds true today?
That was in 2011, what you just quoted, right?
Yes.
Commissioner,
Yeah, no, see, that's, go ahead. That's not the last legislation. It was, the last legislation, I believe, was February of 2012, when it was brought together as the Road Commission Accountability Act, is what it was called. And that's when the legislation changed. It changed to allow the Board of Commissioners to dissolve or keep as is, however they were created. And so when I'm reading the legislation, under the understanding that our board was, you guys didn't take it to the people and ask the people if you wanted them elected or appointed. You just done a resolution. The way I read the legislation is, if it was done with a resolution and a county vote, you could disband it with a resolution and a county vote. So that's where I'm at with that. That was in 2012. That's been the last legislation. Now the caveat to that whole legislation was there was a sunset set to that legislation. You had like 2 years to do that. If you did not do that in 2 years, it went back to the old way, which you just quoted. If they're elected, you got to take it back to the people. But the sunset has been eliminated. And this is where I got a hold of Matt Beerline, because I was following that and they kept pushing the sunset back 2 years, then another year, then another year. And now they have eliminated it altogether. So that law, PA 12, 13, and 14 of 2012 still stands today.
So just to reframe that, that means that what your standing is so far is that a board of commissioners can eliminate a road commissioners board such as we have today that is elected by a resolution and a vote? Or does it have
If they were
to be board of-
created, if they were created by a resolution, you can dissolve them by a resolution. And in 2010, our board created them by a resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, so we checked with the other road commission, the other counties that disbanded their road commission, and they were appointed road commissioners when they done it. This is the caveat, and this is where it gets hairy. I mean, the way I read it is, it doesn't matter if they are elected or appointed, because that's what it says. But so far, the ones who've done it, they were appointed road commissioners. They were elected, as far as I can tell, so far. So, so that's where we're at, because it's still a little muddy there.
So, Chairman, where is just briefly, where's the gray area then that Jack Laurie talked about? Basically, I think from a communication that I saw from Commissioner Barrios, that the County Board of Commissioners has no effectivity, no oversight, if I'm correct, of the Board of Road Commissioner Board. Am I correct with saying that, Commissioner Barrios?
That was his assumption. He told me I got bad information.
Okay. how do you frame that in? What is the gray area, or is there one?
Well, again, the gray area is how you determine, I guess, how you determine the law that is written. I mean, I determine it as you read it, and I cited a lot of it in some of the boardroom, and you know, and that's why that act was brought to the governor, because the county boards wanted to have more control over the road commission, and that's why they named it the Road Commission Accountability Act. You know, but then they're saying they're protected by election law, and that's what the legal I got too from our legal was when you start throwing election laws in there and stuff, they contradict each other. So that's where the gray area is. They contradict each other when you got elected appointed, even though it states that it's still a gray area. But what isn't the gray area is the part that the county board has oversight of the finances. The county board has oversight of procedure and policy. That's not a gray area. That doesn't matter if you're elected, you're appointed, or God himself gives you that seat. That's not a gray area. That is a county board's purview to be involved directly with that. So that's why when I brought it before, and I said to save any problems or any lawsuits or anything down the road, I have no issue with putting this on the ballot, because if you do it that way, there's no gray area, there's no question. It's done back by the people, and maybe the people should decide anyway, you know, what they want. But so that's why, you know, that's why I was trying to do all the research I could, and I've seen the gray areas, and I've seen the stuff that you could read and say, well, you know, they got a point there. But I feel by the law, and I've had some outside people that were churches I said look at too, and they agree too that we as a board, under that statute, we could dissolve that board. But again, that's up to this board to do that. There would be probably a legal fight if we done that. If we want a legal fight and we want to move in that direction, we can get language and put it on the ballot and let the people decide. But once that happens and the people decide, then it's done forever. It's gone.
Well, thank you, Chairman. Just another question. From your research and discussions, is there any case precedence for dissolving by resolution currently or in the last few years? I know there were some counties. I'm not familiar with the particulars, but is there any case law that would pertain to this existing today, or is this a new area?
You know, I've only looked at the counties that disbanded the road commission right after this act was enacted, which there was 2 or 3 counties. That's one thing I need to look into more, to find out if there was, to get as many as possible who's done it, and to see if there's any precedent that if they're elected road commissioner or they're appointed road commissioner.
And perhaps the last question before I refer it back to the board for questions. Has this question been reviewed by our legal counsel for the parameters at this point yet?
It has.
Okay.
It has.
In their opinion?
Okay. And their opinion is it's a very gray area. She sees what she understands what is there, but she thinks it's a very gray area. She does see that the sunset has been eliminated, and she says, her opinion was if there was one other county that done it where the road commission was elected, I would have an issue with it. But I don't think Tuscaloosa County wants to be the first one to do that.
That's a good point. That's what I was asking, if there was any precedent that you thought of that had engaged in something like this. Well, I appreciate you, Chairman, framing this in again. It's been sort of a confusing, well, for some, me, issue. So with that, I'd like to open it up to the board for any questions for the chairman.
Now, one more thing, Vice Chair, before. Now, I know Commissioner Luce did reach out and talk to Calhoun County, directly. And the guy at Calhoun County, gave him the information, and he says, he said that he believes, oh, you're right. It doesn't matter if they're elected or appointed, according to PA 14, PA 15. Okay. But they needed some help doing this, and he thought that we should do the same thing. And Commissioner Luce can reiterate this more. Get a hold of Mac. Mac can help you with this. So I think that's the next thing, and we're waiting on some phone calls back from Mac. We haven't got some, but that's where we need to go with this, and let Mac explain to us exactly.
Vice Chair.
Go ahead. Chairman.
I called
Commissioner.
Matt, Representative Beerline, got a number at Mac, and I called, left a message for her. She's the transportation policy person at Mac, and she has not returned my call yet. But I'll reach out again today.
I did reach out to Calhoun County. I talked to their chairman. He said that's the best thing they ever did. Just got rid of that. He said, but that's a gray area, like Chairman Vaughn was saying. If they're elected, they were appointed in Calhoun County, and they disbanded their board. So that's about all he could tell me, but he said that was the best thing that they ever done, is disbanded that board, because it puts it back to the county commissioners.
All right, well, thank you for that information.
Vice Chair.
Yes.
December 29th, I think, was our last board meeting, correct?
I believe that's correct.
And I made a statement that I didn't want this to turn into, how can we get rid of the road commission board? We need to address these 6 intersections. And unfortunately, that's what is happening.
And thank you, Commissioner. And I was leading it into that, not with that intent, but I wanted to understand at this point exactly where we're at.
Right.
No, I appreciate that.
But not in terms of moving forward, because I'm still as unclear as I was, but more clear in some areas. I mean, obviously it's a gray area. So, all right, so pleasure the board set that aside for a moment, the interpretation and all that. I would like to ask the board for your thoughts and permission to take those minutes, those notes, and place them in the record.
Yes. Yeah.
We do
I'm
that.
glad. I thank you, Commissioner, for getting all that, but as one commissioner, it's just excuses. Total excuses.
Well, we asked for financials. I mean, we're not asking for the world here. We're asking for their financials. I mean, why can't we get some, we control the purse strings out there. Why can't we see what their financials? I don't understand that. I mean, we just want information, and they don't even want to do that. That's what I don't understand.
Commissioner, I brought that up, that we have not had a presentation from the road commission here. And Mike Tuckey, who's the finance director, had indicated that's true. He hadn't been here last year. They had been here prior. And he didn't know how that had kind of fallen through the cracks, but he told me he was going to contact Erica and set up an opportunity to sit down and go over their annual report with the county commissioners here. They post their stuff online, their budgets and so on, as we do. So that information is available. I also indicated, and I think I indicated to you, I can bring back information from you, but if you have any questions, I'm not the person that operated it. I can't give you any technical answers. So it would be good, and I explained that to him as well. It would be good for him to come here and be able to make his presentation. So he agreed that he would come and set up a meeting to go over.
So, go ahead, Commissioner.
It's not gonna accomplish anything.
It's just gonna accomplish what he wants.
Well,
Well, he wants more than finance.
yeah, but Commissioner Cook asked for this way over a month ago, and here we are. We can't even get him to come and do that. I mean, we're not getting anything from them. I have a problem with that.
My question is, we need to find out from somebody, whether that be our legal department or what. If one board says they won't do it, and we say you need to do it, and the employees of the road commission are our employees, correct? Can anybody answer that for me? Is that correct? I would assume it is.
They seem to respond, they seem to respond directly to the road commission board.
Okay.
Commissioner,
We need to change the organizational chart then.
if I may, they have their own federal ID, their own payroll department. So in the eyes of the Department of Labor or DOL, they are road commission employees, not Tuscola County employees. As for the org chart, that's a legal question, but
But if they want money to pay things,
yes.
don't they come to this board and get okayed?
Yes.
Don't they get a hold of the treasurer? The treasurer says, hey, the road department needs this much money, and it gets okayed by this board, right?
Yes.
My point.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the board, there's two questions that are outstanding yet. The original question was to put together a meeting with two members of the board, which I'd like Chairman Vaughn to select those two members at some point to meet with the road commission. That's one question to consider. The next question that was just raised is a financial oversight. The value of bringing Mike in is that you can ask him questions versus going to a website. That's direct questions. And I believe that's what you're asking for.
Right.
Even though there's more information and respectively, we would use his presence as more or less from a financial perspective versus from a leadership to keep it in perspective in terms of just finance. I mean, that'd be my thought. So those are the two questions outstanding. Does anyone want to comment on the first question related to setting up, as they have requested, a meeting, which I would think the chairman would agree that Commissioner Barrios would be on that. But Chairman Vaughn, would you be willing to be on that? Or would you appoint someone else?
Well, I would be, but I'm going to be gone for a little while. So, and this is a precedent that we can't wait.
Okay.
This needs to be set up and move forward on quickly. And I believe in getting back to Commissioner Cook analysis, which, I mean, that's what we want as the board. We want to move on our requests that we have put out there. And one thing to do when you're not getting cooperation is to keep hounding them. If you don't do it, we're going to do whatever we can to dissolve you. If we do it through ourselves, or we do it through a vote, or however we do it, either we're going to get cooperations, or we're move your board. Now that's why I believe it's important to touch on that when we're talking, because right now we're not getting no cooperation. The best cooperation we got is for them to say, hey, let's put a couple people from our board, a couple people from their board, let's sit down and talk together and see if we can't get this work done. Because we got to move forward on these issues. And right now we're at a stalemate. We're not really moving forward.
So using my
So I'd think Commissioner Barrios could be on it, and whoever else on that board wants to be on that committee to meet with them. I think we need to get it done. Start there.
I'll be on it.
Commissioner, Vice Chair, if there are more than one commissioner on the meeting, there must be a clerk present as well.
and a public
Yes, a public meeting.
announcement. But so far Commissioner Vaughn, Nancy Barrios, and Commissioner Cook would satisfy those two roles. Is that to your liking?
Yeah, I think that is fine. You know, and getting back to this, public meeting and all this stuff on it again, I think that slows us down. I think that gets in our way, and legally, legal opinion, we don't need to do that. I think it just needs to be done and then brought back to the board. But however you want to proceed is up to the board. But this needs to move forward. It's a lot easier to get together and say, hey, let's get together at a certain time and meet and talk about these issues, than trying to set up everything else that you got to set up just to get together and talk. Meanwhile, we have people that want this stuff done because their lives at stake.
All right, thank you for the additional comments. So we have two individuals. That meeting would be set up through Commissioner Barrios and Erica, of course, for the. What do you think?
Commissioner Barrow go through the controller's office or whatever.
All right. Setting the financial question aside then, at the moment? Or not?
Well, he said that he's gonna come here.
He said he would contact Erica and set up an appointment.
Okay.
Now, you all know too, I want to share with you that typically they meet on a Thursday, and you know that there's conflict with our meeting here and that meeting going on at the same time. So I will not be able to attend the meetings, regular meetings of the road commission until April, because there's a conflict with our meeting between now and then, which has always gone on apparently.
It has.
So I'm thinking, what I'm hearing is, why could that meeting not be set up for a committee of the whole? Then you're here, road commission could be here, Mike could be here.
I can reach out to Mr. Tucky and ask him for his availability and let him know what our meeting schedule is.
Okay. Is that acceptable to the board?
Yep.
Before I move on to recognize someone else, anything else?
Along those lines, if I'm not able to make it, can Commissioner Lutz, because if you're going to do it my schedule is.
As a substitute?
Yeah.
Pleasure of the board?
You willing to do
All
that?
right,
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
okay. All right. And again, the minutes that were read or the notes that were read would be matter of record. I believe that was established, so you could get a copy of them. And
Hey, can I say one other thing?
yes, go ahead, Chairman.
You talk about having it at the committee of the whole or whatever. The reason they're not there today is because they don't want to be coming to a public meeting and just get bashed by people. That's why I'm saying it would be nice if they have two commissioners meet with them and two people from their board to meet with them. That's why they said two. That keeps both boards from having any kind of a quorum, and they can work this stuff out. They don't want to come to they don't want a public meeting because they think it's just going to turn into a bash fight, and it could at that point, because now they're open to the public for public comments, they're open to all this stuff. We need to focus on moving forward with our request, and that's why I believe it should not be an open meeting.
And,
I think we're getting these confused. I think we want Mr. Tucky to come to a committee of the whole meeting. I don't see a problem with the two.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I was just talking.
I
about
understand
when we start
that.
talking about people.
Question? Do we need a clerk there for the
Yeah.
two of us?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that, but
Anybody can take notes, right?
no, I'd have a clerk.
I'm not
That's true.
familiar
That
with
is true.
I don't
the
know.
change. I thought the clerk had to be there,
Yeah.
but there's been a
I don't have a
recent
problem with that.
Well,
OEM
I
change.
think what Chairman Vaughn is getting confused is we're gonna have 2 and 2 meet on a committee the whole day.
Oh,
And
see.
I don't think
No.
that that's necessary at all.
Well, do they have somebody out there that takes notes when they're meetings?
Mike Tucky.
Huh?
Mike Tucky.
I think just as a checkpoint, I'm not sure the latest OEM that makes it's been a sliding scale, and that's where I get somewhat confused because I haven't looked at it lately. And that is when you have 2 or more commissioners, I believe you have to have the clerk.
The open meetings act, as long as you do not have a quorum, you do not have to have a public meeting, as long as you do not have a quorum. But our policy now says if we have 2 or more commissioners, that it's going to be an open meeting. So that's the discrepancy that's going on with us right now. But our last legal was, as long as you don't have a quorum, you don't technically have to have an open meeting. Okay, but our policy says we do.
Correct. Thank you for that, Chairman. Any other thoughts? Because I'd like to, at the pleasure of the board, I'd like to recognize Billy Putman, who had requested earlier to address the board. Pleasure of the board?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a different approach, having listened to whatever they just went on. Abby has done a great job of putting a financial prospectus together. I think she gave it to you guys in your packet. Plus, we also created a resolution through our attorneys saying that, yes, if they're adopted by a resolution, they can be unadopted by a resolution. But here's the deal, and I'm just gonna rip this Band-Aid off, and I'm seething a little bit, so forgive me. Talk is cheap. You know why they say that? Because you can talk all you want and get nothing done. And I've been doing this for 4 months now. And after listening to Commissioner Burrows, there's nothing going to be done. Not a thing. They have no plans to do it. They have no idea how to do it. They don't want to do it. I don't know if it's because of me and my family. I don't know if it's because of personal conflicts of the board. I don't know what's going on. I was at that 29th meeting and they had no respect or want to come here today. There's a rift between both commissions. I don't get it. The people want it done. The people deserve it done. My family has a saying, if you want it done, do it yourself. At this point, I'm ready to do it myself, even to the point where the road commission go and tear it out themselves. Lives are at stake. This is ridiculous. And by the time you guys get a 2-board commission, which I feel is disrespect, I feel that the road commission called your bluff, and now you're caving to them and give them a 2-board meeting, whatever the date, across the aisle handshake. That will get nothing done. There's no planning. There's no hope. There's no nothing. We've gotten nothing farther. If it's the people's will to have it done by the people, I can't get it done until August, and it won't be seen until November. So that gives us another 9 months, 10 months of nothing done until the people say they want it done. And then to restructure, which is up to a year. And this is just ridiculous. Abby has a budget. I think she shared it with you. It's less than $20,000 for all 6 intersections. MDOT approved. We talked to MDOT. They said MDOT can give you a permit and get it done. Now, the road commission has a policy that says they have to stamp off and everything, but you can go to the state of Michigan and get it done, just like building codes. If you guys want to put a coalition together to get it done, I don't have a problem spearheading it. I know that I can get 50 to 100 people throughout this community to get this done. This, as of today, completely stalled. We have no hope for anything. We have no hope for getting it done. We have no hope for resolution, and we have no hope whether or not we're gonna have a road commission board. It's just foolishness. And this is why government has failed us, 100%. And the farther we get up the ladder, the farther our government has failed us. We're in an election year. The governor candidates we have on both sides of the aisles, just a Band-Aid fix. I hate to say it, but Michigan is the next California. We are going down on fire. And if we can't simply put in lights and rumble strips, It's ridiculous. The state police post is doing their part. They did a study. They've done awareness. They've added state trooper parts. Sheriff Robinson done the same thing. He put out a speed sign as much as he can do. He put out extra troopers in the different areas. He's doing his part. 911's doing their part. The people are doing their part. All I'm asking the road commission to do is put out some rumble strips and some friggin' blinking lights. Why can't they do their part? Where's the problem? The problem is we have ineffective people doing a job they don't have the competent to do. End of story. And so by sending 2 commissioners, thank you, Mr. Cook and Barrows, to go negotiate nothing, you will get nothing done. I've been to all 4 of those meetings. You will get nothing done. You will have to compromise, bend over backwards, and submit. And with all due respect, from a financial standpoint, which is not even my problem, they should be here answering questions. I mean, we've been gracious enough with bigger departments than I think the road commission. The sheriff's department, I think, is way more important than the road commission. He comes here every meeting and says, what do you guys need? The judge comes here almost every meeting and says, how can I help? What do you need? This is what I need help with. It's the road commission. We have no solutions. I have solutions, not only from a financial standpoint, but also from, if you want to dismember them standpoint, if you want to re-member them standpoint, I just need help. Now, my plan C, which I don't want to do, is to find 2 more people to replace the road commissions because they're 2 up for election, or disband them myself with the people. That's going to take a lot of time that I don't have. Time that a lot of people don't have. And mark my words, God forbid, something's going to happen on one of those intersections. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to be the first one that says, I told you so. Then what? For a $20,000 fix, is that what it is? It's $22,000. Solution, a life is going to be taken or maimed. This weekend was a big weekend for my family. Gia finally got to come home, but she's in a wheelchair. She can't move her arms. She can't move her legs. She can barely blink her eyes. She can't communicate. She's on a trach. She's 24/7 care. And I look at that every day. And then I come in here and listen to another committee of the committee for a $22,000 solution that can be done this month. If it's so be it, I'm done kicking the can. I will find solutions and we're gonna get it done. Now, you have it in your packet. If you'd like Abby to share with you, I think she did a great job. I'm gonna have her share with you what she came up with. And my solution is, I'm gonna take it to the people and I'm gonna get it done myself. So I just wanted the board to know that. Go ahead, Abby.
All right, so I'm gonna go through this with you. If we look at page 1, that is the second most important page in this packet. It really goes through what my dad really just said, the list of counties and MDOT people that we called. My dad mentioned many times through these minis that many counties are aware of our situation, which they are. I personally talked to each and every single one of them, including those last 2, MDOT, Saginaw and Bay City. And I asked them what we should do, what's the best solutions, is rumble strips the best option, is flashing lights the best options? If so, where do you purchase these? What's your best supplier? Is there any regulations or anything like that that I need to do in order to get this done? And throughout this packet, you can see the instructions, the manuals, the quotes I've had sent from them and that we sat down and did together. So this is pretty legit and MDOT approved. I know it's such a big thing, and these are MDOT approved. I can have many people vouch for me that this packet is legit. Starting off, just for one flashing stop sign is $137, and for 12 of them to equal the 6 intersections that you guys listed throughout the meetings is $1,600. For the rumble strips, for 24 of them, is $20,000. In total, is $22,000 just to get those 6 intersections done. And in a lead time, we can have all of these supplies shipped and arrived by the end of the week, completely. I know that the flashing stop signs, it takes 2 to 3 days to get here, and the rumble strips takes 5 to 7 days. So all these supplies could be at the end of the week, and then we can get something done, God willing, next week if we were to do this. Again, this has been going on for 15 weeks now. That is 106 days up to date today, 106 days of nothing. And I really want that to set in because for me, a 19-year-old that sat down for probably 2 hours, got this all done, figured it out completely with the help of my twin, my dad. It took me 2 hours to do this, but 106 days have gone by and nothing else has been done. I understand you have to get permits and things like that, but if we had done this a long time ago, we'd not be here. Moving on to page 2 and 3, I put with you the House Bill, Public Act 14 and 15. My dad and I sat with the attorney for 2.5 hours and made sure we didn't go through any potholes or gray areas. We made this resolution as fine printed as we can. Commissioner Vaughn was talking about the other counties that disbanded their board of road commissioners, and there's 3 in total that were up today. It was Ingham County, Calhoun County, like he mentioned, and Jackson County, that they all disbanded their road commissioners for kind of the same reason that we would like to through the Public Act 14 and 15. I'm not going to read this whole resolution to you because it is 2 pages long and it is pretty lengthy, but you have in front of you. If you have any questions, I would love to sit down and talk to you about it. On the back page of it, there is many dash marks that are requiring dates. Those dates would be the times where Nancy went to them and said, hey, I need you to be here on this date for a public comment and for to hear what you have to say. Again, they didn't obviously show up, so I mean, that's even worse for them. And then also there's the last one, dash mark, that would be the time where you would want to disband them, so you have to put them there. And of course, you have to date and sign this. The last thing I want to go through really quick is you can see that I have 2 options of rumble strips. One would be for right now, for the winter time, just to have something down. They are, Nancy was talking about, it had to be visible. You have to hear them, you have to see them. These rumble strips that I have put in this packet, they do all 3 of those things. You can pick the color if you want. If you want to be really technical, there's yellow, red. I'm sure you can put hot pink in there if you want to see it really bright. And you can hear them and you can feel them, obviously. This last little document right here that you can see, this is the company that is #1 recommended for rumble strips to put inside the road, not adhesive ones, but ones that you have to drill to the road. They are willing to do it pretty cheap, honestly, $8,000 for 6 of them. And the soonest they can do is April 15th. So if we had these rumble strips, the first option ones where there's just adhesive, until we get these in, we would have something done. And then these would be ones that we put into the road. I also have a step-by-step exactly how MDOT wants you to put the rumble strips in, the flashing lights in, all of these things that you purchase, everything that you need to do with them comes in stock. The batteries, the solar light, the charging batteries, everything that you need in order to get these things done come together. So again, the total price is $22,000. And if you wanted to purchase it this week, everything would come in by Friday. So if you have any questions, please ask me and I'm happy to answer them for you.
Questions for Addison? Very well presented, Addison. I appreciate that.
Thank
You and Isabel and Billy. Board, I'm going to open this up to your thoughts or comments in a moment. I do have a couple of myself.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
Since Erica pointed out that they are technically their employees, because we can't do the rumble strips until April, what's stopping us as a board to purchasing the flashing stop signs and having our maintenance put them up?
I would say liability insurance, I don't know, but, or grievance from the road commission employees would be my other concern. But that's,
At this point, I don't care.
that is above my level of decision-making capabilities.
Further discussion on that point? Commissioner, it's interesting you said that, because as I was going through this and listening to Addison, the first thought I had a couple of thoughts. First thought I had was for the board to go ahead, purchase this and have them installed as a safety concern, representing the constituents of all of the county, right? That's what you're saying.
100%. Somebody wants to file a grievance, go ahead.
I mean, that's an option, and I wanted to hear Chairman Vaughn, if you're listening yet. The sense of urgency, 106 days, over 3 months. If you've taken a look, I'm going to go off on a little discussion. If you take a look at the video the Putman family put together, it's not only heartwarming, it is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking to see this girl, what has happened to her. Now, I happen to know all the other families in the Amish community, and it's likely that you don't hear their voice because you will not. But yet, there is somebody that's crying for help in the layers of clay of government, in the layers of upon layer that was given this morning. That's why I asked to have it put in the record in case it ever needs to be referred to. What does it take? What does it take to get the attention? Does it take a 10th person to die? What does it take? All right, that's the end of my thoughts here, but the mere fact is that we've come to a point of frustration, and I can't disagree with what Billy you're saying whatsoever. It has got to be sad. More than that. But by the grace of God, you've got a wonderful family and a loving family, and Gia is going to get every bit of that, without a doubt. But that's a testament to the inactivity that this board and others seem to want to, not this board's trying to shirk, to pass by with a plethora of rules and regulations, studies after study. I don't know. It is frustrating. That's my heartfelt part of it. So, Chairman, I could consider seriously what was Commissioner Cook has proposed.
I agree. I agree with Commissioner Cook. Fully. I believe we get the material to fix it. We'll start fixing their stuff. We're not getting no permit. We're not going to go through the road commission. We're just going to do it. Now, if they don't like it, they can do it themselves once we get all the stuff. But I don't care what they're doing. But I think Commissioner Cook is right. This is a safety issue, and we're in charge of the safety issues for Tuscola County, and it's our responsibility. And I agree 100%. Get the material, and we'll start in getting it installed, one way or the other. We have given Apple time. They have given Apple time to respond to us. We've given Apple time to come to us. They refuse to do both. And what are they going to do? File a grievance? We don't care if they file a grievance. You know, we're their executive board. No matter what law's been put in place, that doesn't change either. The county board is the executive board to that board. And that never changes either. It doesn't matter if you're elected, appointed, or like I said, if God puts you in them seats in front, it doesn't matter. We still have their executive board. I'd say we get the list of what they've got put together there. We get it out of order, we bring it in, and we'll start getting it installed one way or the other. Either our people will do it or they'll do it, but it's going to get done as soon as we get the stuff in.
Mr. Vice Chair.
End of story.
Mr. Vice Chair, I think we should maybe put it out for bids for an MDOT approved provider instead of having our own maintenance team do it. My concern would be if we install them and they're, not that our maintenance crew is not awesome as they are, this is not their area of expertise. And is there liability if they are indeed installed incorrectly? So is it able to get a bid from someone, a company who can install them? We could buy the materials and get an estimate and move forward.
Go ahead, Chairman.
And again, that's the president of the board. But I think the first step is get the stuff out of order, get it in here. And if we decide, okay, let's put it out for bid, or if somebody wants to bid it out, let's do it right now. And you got 1 week or 10 days to submit your bid, and then it's being done.
Chairman, if I may, when does action become emergency? We have provisions within our financial acumen, I mean, we, separate from this, that if we can go beyond the approval levels and make it happen. We have that ability. The other part of this,
Yes.
I just want to throw that out. The other part depends on the seriousness and the board's perspective of that nature. And we know it's serious. The other part of that, in terms of the financial debit, I'd like to call it, from your standpoint, would this be a billed service to the road commission, or will you debit a line item?
I would debit a line item to do this, is what I would do. We're gonna get to that point down the road, I'm sure, once we get this completed. But I would debit probably a line item to do this job, and we may have to bill it back to the road commission.
All right, well,
Commissioner, are you
go
saying debit their line item?
Mhm.
We're not, while we oversee their finances, it's a higher level. We don't manage what their actual expenditure line items are. We have the funds that come in and we give them a lump sum. So are you saying that we should take it from their line item, their cash account per se, or their one line expenditure line? Or are you saying that we fund it from, for example, the general fund, and then we bill the road commission?
either one, but obviously
That's what
I was looking for
that's what,
go ahead, Chairman.
no, go ahead, Vice Chair.
The question behind that, the question behind the question, and that was somewhat a leading question to you, is it, do we have the visibility or the ability to debit out of a road commission since have financial oversight? If the fact that we give.
Well, again, that's, yeah,
If we give.
and that's what I'm saying, it may come to that. I believe we probably do, okay? But again, I think that's probably a legal question for sure to find out. I would say that we probably do have the authority to do that. But again, that's a legal question, and that's why I'd say that will come down to that. But for right now, we just need to find a line item that we can do it from, I think, and move forward.
And the second part of that you were answering, until that time, you could always invoice. But I was just looking for which option we had. Now we know that one is in question, the other option we can do. The other part of that is, I agree with Erica in terms of we probably would not want our building and grounds, but if we did have the equipment, I'm presenting this to the board, the road commission would have the opportunity to take that equipment and install it. The refusal of that opportunity would lead to phase 2, which may be, it's undefined yet. Unless there's further thoughts on
What
that.
would be phase 2? I'm sorry. I didn't
It's
hear.
undefined yet. In other words, if the road commissioner refuses to install the equipment, it's hypothetical. That's a refusal for whatever reason. Maybe it's not, maybe they got approved. I don't know what it could be, but the board would have to address that separately as a separate issue, and perhaps that is an installation by a separate company. I don't know. We'd have to explore that. And I'm throwing this out just for thinking purposes in the sense that looking at the options of the strategy of what we're somewhat crafting, purchasing out of the general fund or out of the.
Could you see if MDOT would install them?
Well, I would think they would be the first ones to be asked to install. Now, the road commission.
I don't think MDOT will, because they're not in charge of county roads. You know, they made that very clear. We don't want them really to be in charge of county roads. And we start having to install stuff. I mean, they made it pretty clear that it's a county road. It's up to you guys. You guys are in charge of your own roads. Do whatever you want with them. You know, they don't want to be in charge of our county roads. We don't want them to. I think the best thing is get a private company to install them. Somebody that, you know, and there's companies out there that do them. If we don't want our own guys to do them, because again, the longer we keep going on, with meetings and MDOT might not get to it for 6 months.
Good point.
Vice Chair.
Go ahead. Good, Commissioner.
By Thursday meeting, which is the only time we can make motions, I would like a motion drafted to purchase the flashing stop for the stop signs, and also to have a backup company if, number one, the road commission will not install them, or number two, we feel that our maintenance department shouldn't do it because of liability issues. I'm sick and tired of this conversation of where do we take the money from, all that. I know it's good conversation, but we need to get this done. We're only talking $1,600 for the flashing things around the thing. It's a matter of money, I'll pay for it.
What about the rumble strips?
Rumble strips can't be done till April anyway.
Well, that'd be another topic of discussion as spring comes along, depending on where we're at. All right, so the board feels a sense of urgency to prepare a motion, as Commissioner Cook has outlined. Is the board satisfied with that at this point?
I am.
And one other thing, and I believe that we're taking the right direction here. We prepare a motion as far as that two board, us and them. I say we scratch that for right now. We're not gonna go for that. We're just gonna take matters in our own hands. And if you don't like it, that's too bad.
So we're scratching the two-party.
Pleasure of the board, scratch it?
Yep. Scratch it.
Okay, so
I think like Billy said, we're not gonna gain anything there. They won't even come here to talk to us, so I guess we gotta do what we gotta do.
I have another, if I may, pleasure of the board, move on a little bit. I've been reviewing the resolution that was presented this morning, the two-pager. I'm still reviewing it. And as it was stated, it was prepared by a legal firm. Billy, can you come to the podium again? Whoop. So it's prepared by a legal firm. Would you reveal who the legal firm was?
I can have them reach out to you.
Okay.
They don't want to get involved because they're not hired by you guys.
I
They're
see.
representing myself.
Okay.
So I know what they did. They went and took Calhoun's resolution and read their briefing and then adapted it to Tuscola County
Okay.
for my records. But they would be more than happy to be retained in this issue because they know they can resolve it for you guys.
Well, the pleasure of the board on this resolution, here's a suggestion. Tenet 1 is that the chairman receives a copy of this, if he hasn't already. Have you seen the resolution, Chairman Vaughn?
I think it just came in and did that.
Thursday, do we drop?
I have seen it.
Okay, you've seen it. All right, then
I have.
All right. Is this a resolution that might have been reflective of what you had reviewed by legal counsel?
Yes.
So this wouldn't have to be
You know, I
reviewed.
did read it.
Go ahead.
Well, I didn't give the legal counsel a resolution. You know, they just had our resolution when you guys made them, you know,
Elected.
made them elected. But there was something in this resolution that again struck me funny, and I'm looking for it back up again. So let me see, let me find where I'm at here. Was prior to adoption of resolution transferring powers. Well, it says you have to have 2 public hearings on this resolution.
Mhm.
And then it does refer somewhere in here, Billy, about being appointed. It doesn't say anything about being elected road commissioners. And so again, that threw me a little bit. I'm trying to find where I read that.
The second paragraph, whereas.
Yeah, second paragraph.
Yeah, see where it says,
Vice Chair.
the Michigan law authorizes the county board of commissioners where the county road commissioners are appointed. Ours are appointed, ours are elected to transfer the powers. And that's where the gray area comes in, because if you read the act and after, it throws them to either appointed or elected. But this is where the attorney says this is where you get into that gray area, because our people are not appointed, they are elected. So when I read that, I'm saying, geez, well, there you go. That's a discrepancy where we should be challenged at. So that to me
Mr. Vice Chair.
is telling me that they also believe that they need to be appointed road commissioners instead of elected.
Whatever we do, I think we want our attorney to preface it before we take any type of action on passing this. Just to make sure that we've got, like this issue here, appointed versus elected. Because if it's going to be a fight, we want to make sure that we've got our ducks in a row.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Barrios, and definitely, that was the second question I was going to ask the board. If this was to be pursued, as I was asking the chairman, if this was like, kind, or similar, or if he had it reviewed by the county's legal. So now that
I haven't had this one reviewed.
okay, now that we know that,
Have them review it before Thursday.
pleasure of the board to review.
Yes.
And related to the appointed versus elected, in the case it changes something, just for the sake of understanding.
And I'm gonna chime in on that. I don't think there's a reason to have a review, because I've sent her everything. They reviewed it. They sent it back to me, and their position was, Kim, we see what you're saying, but to us, it's too much of a gray area for you guys to do it that way. I think if you done it that way, you could get maybe sued for it. I wish there was another county in the state that has done it to elected officials instead of appointed, but so far we can't find any that has. So our recommendation is, if you want to dissolve the road commission, do it the old-fashioned way, and that way nobody can argue. So that's their opinion. That's all. That's where they're at on it. So you can have a view this all that, but that's not going to change. They're not going to change their opinion on it. They feel, since they are elected to the board, that we need to do it by the voters.
If I may, pleasure of the board, I'm going to ask the chairman a question. Chairman Vaughn, would you consider having this reviewed by Cole Stoker? Law firm of Cole Stoker? Their government, and they.
I would like to have that whole thing.
Mac, go ahead.
I would like to have. I'd like to talk to Mac for one, because I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, according to Matt Beerline, when we had our conversation, he says the law allows it for either elected or appointed. Okay, our attorney disagrees with that. Now, everything I said to him, I says, how can you disagree with that? It says that they still are not comfortable with it. If somebody else wants to look at it, like PA 14 and 15, I have no issue with letting anybody look at it. You know, I had outside people look at it, like I told you before, that weren't our attorneys, and the same with like Billy says, they can't publicly come tell you that because they're not the county's attorney. They can't publicly come tell you their findings or whatever. But just as a friend of mine, because I think you're right, I think you have the ability to do it. But our county attorney does not think we have the ability to do it if they're elected. So that's where we're at with that. So as far as I said this to them, this is not going to change anything because I sent them so much information on stuff, and it still did not change their mind. The only thing they said is, I wish that we had somebody that had set a precedent on this, and then it'd be a no-brainer. But there's too much of a gray area for them to say, yeah, go ahead and.
All right, let me just rephrase this. Steve Curry, Mac. If I'm not mistaken, John Doyle has been their attorney on and off for years, but Cole Stoker is the law firm that anyone would use, other counties, Mac especially, for government type of questions. This is their area of expertise. It is not Braun Kendricks. And my question to you was—
That is true.
Would you agree to have, while we're talking to Mac, have this
Yes.
discussion to set up for review by Cole Stoker? Because if Cole Stoker—
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
It's great, because I got a feeling they might have a different view, but I don't know. But anyway, that was just an option based on the fact that we've been contacting Mac. Pleasure of the board.
I think that's a good idea.
I would, yes, it was a good idea. I think it's a good idea because, and believe me, I done everything I could because I said every bit of information I had, and that's was the final. So I left it alone till it's done. But
Okay.
I think that Cole Stoker would be the ones probably to really know for sure, because I said, you know, unless this is an absolute, we can't take this risk.
All right. Thanks for your thoughts on that. Billy, do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay. So pursue Cole Stoker. What's the timeline we can expect for Cole Stoker? Or to contact
And
with
who-
Mac?
And who will be reaching out to them?
That's where I'm going. Who will be reaching out to them?
Good idea.
Good idea, but would you like,
I can,
you can, Commissioner or Chairman?
I can reach out to Cole Stoker. Just give me the contact information, and I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, and if you have any problems, I'll see what I can do with contact, but we'll see Erica, could you find out what Cole Stoker is as well?
Sure.
Let me know and I have contacts, but it's,
Would I get that information from Derek Merlot from Mac?
yeah, get it from Derek.
Okay.
I would think. I mean, you might just say, Derek, this is a situation, we're just looking for an opinion. We've had one already. I mean, I'm sure Cole Stoker also, we've got another opinion, but they are well-known for issues. And it just clears up a lot of the mud, hopefully. So as soon as we could do that? Okay. All right. Anything else from the board?
Meanwhile, I think move on Commissioner Cook's idea.
Yes, there's going to be a motion, as I understand, for Thursday. Correct, Commissioner Cook? That was your request?
That's what I asked for. I'm sure there will be, hopefully.
Yes,
Yes,
I
I will
believe
prepare
that's-
that.
that was requested earlier. Correct? From the clerk. A lot has been discussed. Hard day for you.
Yes.
You need a star on this one. All right, are there any other discussion? All right. I know I've asked that, but I need some time to get back to the agenda. Okay, that concludes number 9 for the moment, anyway, and we'll move to item 10, which is the Herds Corner Road speed data by Commissioner Nancy by Ryan.
Well, I'm just coming up here in case there's any questions.
Oh, okay.
She wanted the data, so I gave
Great.
it to her.
Thank you.
And so I'm here just in case you have to ask anything.
All right. Commissioner Barris?
We had noticed, and I think it was you that had mentioned the speed data unit was gone, and the speed hasn't decreased on the highway. So I had asked if they had data in that unit that was able to be extracted, and Sheriff was able to pull that to see what the range of speeding down that road actually was. And if I'm not mistaken, that unit was placed just before the stop sign. It wasn't like in the middle of the section of the roadway.
Yeah,
near
it
the
wasn't a
mile.
half mile down or anything.
It was near the intersection where the stop signs and notices of the crossroads are. And it was interesting to see some of the mile speeds.
Could I just
Yes.
stop you for a minute?
Yes.
Ryan, about how many feet or yards would you say from that speed sign to the intersection?
I don't have a guess, but I think we had 250
250 yards.
I remember him saying he had a rangefinder out there.
Okay, just for reference, and when you look at the speeds and what it would take to come to a stop or slow down. All right, continue.
So looking at this, and I'm not an expert on this, that's why I asked him to be here. But in the ranges at 250 yards from the stop sign, the speed limits between 61 and 70 miles per hour, the counts were 1,865. Between 71 and 80 were 57. Between 81 and 90 were 9. Between 91 and 100 were 4. And that's just on the one. Going to the other, because you measured both sides. You measured going north and you measured going south, as I recall. There were 2 lanes.
Correct, but the one that was for northbound traffic, that was further down the road. That wasn't as close to that intersection.
Okay. So the other one, this is southbound. The ranges of counts from 51 to 60 miles an hour were 10,434 at that range, which is probably more than 250 yards on the southbound. No, southbound is northbound. The northbound is the other
The
one.
southbound
is the
travel
other
lane
one.
was the 250.
So this is the southbound one, which is heading towards the intersection. And there were 10,437 from 51 to 60 miles an hour. From 61 to 70, there were 1,672. 55 going 71 to 80. 81 to 90, there were 4, and there were 2 that were going between 91 and 100 miles per hour down that road.
Commissioner, if I may, Ryan, what is the speed limit for an unmarked, I don't know if it's an unmarked road or whatever it is, Herds Corner?
55.
55. Interesting, so the majority of these are,
Yeah, the vast majority is between that 51 and 60 mile per hour range. Just goes to show that the majority of people do follow the speed limits, but there are quite a few outside of that range as well. And the other thing that this is good for is if you look at the far side, the totals, you can really see how much traffic is actually moving through that intersection.
at that rate of speed, from your experience, is that, what speed limit based on the one that was closest to 250 yards, is the threshold for safe braking to that sign? Where does it break? Where is 50 miles an hour? Is it 60 miles an hour? When you hit that sign, you should be brake. What is too fast for 250 yards?
Well, I'm always going to say anything over the speed limit's too fast, right? But I know that from driving an emergency response vehicle, if you're alert and paying attention and preparing for it,
you can carry a lot of that speed up to the intersection and get yourself stopped. I think the issue is people that are going this fast probably aren't paying attention, so they're not going to be able to react anyway. So I can't really, and obviously a lot more goes into that too. What's the condition of the vehicles that people have and things like that. I think obviously when you start to look to that 70 to 80 or above, 55 people, that 71 to 80 miles per hour, I think a lot of people might have issues getting stopped within that range if they're not slowing down already. Now, it's hard to tell how far back that trailer took a speed measurement because on a flat road, our radar on the right conditions can reach out 3/4 to a mile if it's flat enough and it's, so it could have been that they recorded those speeds a half mile back, or it could have been that they were much closer. I don't know the range of that unit.
I see how. So how far back would it go again? Up towards the north to catch the speed? Say
The southbound traffic?
You're going southbound, so you're traveling from the north to
Yep, so
southbound.
that trailer was 250 yards away from the stop sign.
But going north, where does it actually mark your speed?
That's what I'm saying is I don't know how far back that thing is actually collecting that
That's what,
because
okay,
on a good day, our radars will extend out there quite a ways.
could be way back.
Right.
In terms of the mass, what won't it pick up? Because you have some high speeds here. What does it take for a mass to record that high speed?
This is
car?
a newer trailer, so I assume obviously motorcycles are big enough. I don't know that it would pick up bicyclists. I guess I've never seen one drive past one of our speed trailers to see.
You can run at it and it'll catch you on.
There you go. See, so he has so it'll pick up anything that's moving.
A bird?
Well, no, I don't think
Okay, it
that.
has
I
to
mean,
be
a
a-
person
It'll do a
size.
person, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. That's been a question in terms of the high speed. What could it have been something else? For
Yeah, I don't think there's any animals that are giving us any
Yeah.
erroneous figures on this.
We'll set that question aside. Any other? Oh. Continue.
I just wanted to make sure that the trailer was there and it was removed, but nobody looked at the data. I mean, we didn't look at the data, was not presented to us to find out what was going on there. I was reading that Lapeer County is, and I don't know what this, they're ordering 24 cameras. Are you familiar with what they're ordering? Float them?
Are they flock cameras?
Flock cameras, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that something that you have?
we're in the
that?
process. Due to the amount of money, we're going to be installing 7 of them countywide, so it's not going to be at every intersection. And they're in the permitting process still for that. So that's probably going to be a springtime, summer before they're live is my assumption.
And is that something that you can track car and give a ticket to?
No.
You
No,
just track car?
that's just, yeah. Perfect example, we had the missing person from the AFC home. We were able to use those cameras and track that person's movement essentially all the way down to Florida until someone was able to get them stopped.
So it doesn't read the driver's license?
No, it'll read the
It
plate.
will.
Yeah, it'll read the plate. But you can't enforce off of that because you don't know if someone else is driving that car. It's not a person that's actually taking that speed measurement.
I wondered. Okay. Very good.
Commissioners?
Interesting.
Well, if you allow me, I'd like to ask a couple more questions.
I'm good.
You didn't say yes, so maybe I shouldn't ask. Ryan, one of the arguments, which we've all discussed this before, is the fact that this is a speed issue. This is an enforcement issue. This is a road patrol issue. Almost 20,000 cars are going down through there. Knowing the scarce resources that you have, the state police have, and the county they must cover, where do you see, what could be done beyond that? I mean, that's an easy thing to say, yeah, we need to have enforcement. The hard part is how to do that, other than parking somebody there. Well, do you have any further thoughts? I know you've been challenged with this before.
No, I mean, it's just when time's permitting, we work traffic. I mean, it's a part of every patrol officer's, daily performance. In between calls, if we have excessive speeds, if we're going to a car deer crash, we can still pull someone over for speeding because it's a non-emergency response that we're going to. It's just a matter of people just have to stop with the distracted driving. And until the state, I don't know if they would ever criminalize the distracted driving. Right now, it's a civil infraction. You get caught texting, it's a fine. I mean, perhaps if they made it some sort of a misdemeanor offense, such as driving on a suspended license or something, maybe that would be more incentive for people to put their phones down. But when we catch them on their phones, they get tickets for that.
That's easier in town or somewhere else on Hertz Corner Road or maybe some of these other roads. That's sort of unless you're parked there, be hard pressed unless you had phone data at an accident. I don't know.
If you were at the intersection, you might see someone pull their phone up, but if they're half mile away, yeah, you're never going to see that.
Not going to see it. So the challenge is how to monitor that. Now, this is just Hertz Corner. The other 5 would be interesting to have the same data, same time period, same data, just to reflect. That sounds like a job, doesn't it?
Well, we don't have that. Yeah, the
Don't
trailer
have
got
that.
put away for the year
Okay.
and it's
All
in
right.
storage for the year so that the battery doesn't deplete during the winter months.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just curious on how to reduce. But that's an issue from whether it's 81, 46, 53, that's everywhere at the moment. Okay. Didn't need to put you on the spot. It's just, there's just not a solution yet, or you can reduce, but one last question. What percent of the time do you have an officer on Hertz Corner Road or any of these 6 intersections? Like traveling through, or any idea?
You can't even give a percentage on that. When you look at, the square miles that we have to cover, we never know where a call's going to come in. I mean, I've been on patrol in the Cass City area and my next call's down in Arvila Township.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. Makes sense. Any other questions for Ryan?
Commissioner?
Go ahead.
All of us that attended that meeting at the Brentwood with the state police in November got an email from him with a survey to fill out. I would encourage you to fill out that survey because some of the questions that it asks are, what are some of the issues that you see? Is it signage? Is it engineering? Is it technical? I filled mine out. And
I completed that survey as well. And I did actually put down at the bottom, if they were to penalize the distracted driving more, that might have more of an impact. Like I say, right now it's a civil infraction. People weigh that risk all the time. If they're running late, I'm just going to speed because at worst it's a ticket,
And that's the unfortunate thing because I'm assuming it was a distracted driver that took the lives of the Putnam family on Hertz Corner.
Had to have been distracted by something.
And to see the judgment that came out with 365 days, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, actually crying, because you take 3 lives, you maim a child for life, a baby, and you get 365 days of slap on the hand, and they've ruined the lives, taken lives, and that needs to be changed. I'm sorry. The only way you can get rid of these distracted driving issues is to make it so difficult for them, if they're distracted and found distracted, that they won't do it again. It's distracted driving. And it's like I said at the meeting that I went to, stop signs are great. They're 1950s. Today, in today's world, there's so many distractions, whether it's technical, electronic, whether it's whatever it is, their lifestyle. people are distracted. How do you get that? How do you get people back? And I know the supervisor is here from Ellington Township, and he spoke at that meeting on the 31st also about doing something with, rumble strips, alerting people, bringing them back to reality that you're driving, whatever you're thinking about in the back of your mind or you're looking at, there's a stop sign coming up. So I think we're all here after the same thing to do something. And some of it needs to be changing the laws and the penalties. So fill out that form.
The problem I see with that, though, is it seems like Michigan's going the other way. We're making things less criminal than more criminal. That's why we don't have anywhere near the lodges that we used to, the people being arrested and things like that. We're kind of going the other way. That's just the trend that we've seen in law enforcement. As far as this, I mean, I would love if they would raise distracted driving up, make it much more of a stiffer penalty. I put on that form, if it could be a misdemeanor offense. But I really don't think that they'll ever go that route unless it affects one of them personally.
Any other questions, Ryan?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ryan. As always, very insightful. All right, that concludes the new business. Let's move on to old business. Citizen
Vice
review
Chair.
and research.
Can you take a break?
Pleasure of the board.
Sure.
It's been requested, and we'll take a 10-minute break. We will reconvene about 22:10. All right, we're now recessed. Good morning, everyone. Once again, we took a short break, about 10 minutes, a little extended. We recessed the committee of the whole, and we're going to be coming back into session as of now. So with that said, we are completed our new business. We're going down to old business. The first item on that was the citizens review and research concerning the road commission. And that was going to be Billy Putman, but I believe he has left. So we'll set that aside.
Mr. Vice Chair, that was what he provided and what Addison
Oh, this is what he
presented.
provided earlier,
Yes,
which you discussed earlier.
yes.
Yeah. All right, thank you for that clarity. Item 2 is dispatch potential ballot language. Erica, our control administrator, is going to walk us through that.
This was discussed in July and requested to be back on our agenda for approval, the first meeting in January. However, since then, as you know, leadership has changed with dispatch. And we have our interim directors here. They're working to determine what funding would be necessary, working on a forecast. So I don't know if we are ready to actually approve this yet, but I wanted to put it on the agenda since I was instructed to do so. Deputy Clerk Keisha, do you happen to know what is the deadline for ballot approval to get that on the ballot for August of 26? Okay. Oh, she might, oh, there she is.
Yeah, she.
Thank you.
Hi, give me just a minute and I can look that up for you, Erica.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's going to be in February.
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
It'll be February 10th at 4 p.m.
Okay, so with that being said, if it would be acceptable to the board, we will hold off on any decisions this week. And I will work with the two interim directors of dispatch to be able to determine what their anticipated funding needs are. As well as in the packet, you have the history, the GL history and the expenses versus incoming revenue for the dispatch. What's that? Surcharge. Thank you so much. My brain was not working there for a second. As well as the potential millage amounts that we received from Angie Daniels. She was gracious enough to calculate that out with 3 different options for us. So if it would be acceptable to the board, I will move this to the next committee of whole. That would give us 2 weeks to review, and then that should give us enough time. And I did, Clerk Fetting did ask if it had went to legal, and yes, it has. And this verbiage was approved by legal in July.
So January 26th,
Yes. Is that acceptable?
that's fine with me.
Vice Chair,
Yes.
you know what our
Please.
balance is now, as far as what they're, how they're doing right now?
Their fund balance?
Yeah.
I do have a fund balance as of, no, I don't. I can give that to you in just one moment.
Mr. Vice Chair, Clerk Dyke still has her hand raised for.
Oh, what, who?
Clerk Dyke.
Oh, Clerk Fetting. Sorry.
That's okay. Just because of our timeline, and if I don't have any issue with pausing that this week, I think it's probably very fair to say that we need to have some discussion with the interim directors. And I think Erica is on track with that. The timeline, though, just to kind of review, when you're looking at that, our next set of meetings at the last week of January, the 26th and the 29th, if a decision is not made on the 29th and you're still interested in placing that on for the August, we would have the opportunity to set a special board meeting for February 9th to follow our committee of the whole meeting. So we would need to have a decision made either by that January 29th meeting, or we would need to set a special meeting on the 9th in order to adopt that. I just wanted to review that timeline a little bit because we do have some working days, but I feel like that will go very quickly for us as well. So just to kind of bring you up to speed while Erica was looking up the numbers for you on that.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
In addition, while I'm running the report, Mr. Vice Chair, I also think we should involve the authority board to see if there's anything on their radar that will need to be funded in the near future. So
We
that
have a
next
meeting tomorrow.
I was going to say that next meeting
It's
is
on the agenda, so.
perfect. So their fund balance as of today, now this is unaudited 2025 numbers. Oh, my apologies, it gave me every single department, not just. Okay. Fund balance currently is 493,000. They have a projected use of fund balance of close to 200, I believe, this year. 200,000.
So they're projected at using 200,000 this year.
426, yes. I apologize. My report is massive and I'm having a hard time finding that one department. I need to rerun it. That would be why the report took so long, is it's everything.
With a 400,000, I think it was 400,000, 200,000 projected use. Commissioner Cook, looking at the three millage amounts, do you have a sense of, or anyone here, of, this is a 4-year millage proposal. Do you have a sense of what's going to be needed? Is there a projection? I know there's a projection. I just don't have it. So
We
just
need
for
to talk about
thinking.
that tomorrow, big time.
So I know there are some biggest expenses coming up. There's the GLB phone system that we're part of. There's a $108,000 upgrade that's in 2027. That's coming up. We don't have a choice on that. And there's some other things that we've kind of kicked around that we're trying to figure out too. So that's how we how that fund balance.
So you're going to come back, or you'll have tomorrow, you have some kind of a sense of projection? And okay, that makes sense. A little early for that.
Which is why I was asking for more time to meet with the interim co-directors as well as the authority board, so we can have an accurate assessment of what's anticipated.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate the analysis that was presented here, the projections. All right, any other questions on the proposal? Well, that completes the old business.
Vice Chair, I just have something if I could.
Yes,
under old
go ahead,
business.
Commissioner Cook.
We approved a 2026 budget, December 22nd, and there was an article in thumbnet.net that made reference that we didn't have items to make that decision, et cetera, and I'm not going to go into that. But I'd just like, as a member of the Finance Committee and the Commissioner, to thank all the department heads and the front office and Erica and Connie for all the work they did to help us approve a 2026 budget. Not that we still don't have trying times ahead, but together we need to get through this. And I just wanted to state that publicly.
Thank you.
Certainly the vice chair accolades that in terms of the rapidity and uncertainty and a few other descriptive words that were involved in there to come up with a budget. There is one request, Erica, that may, I know both of you and your staff are busy, but at some point, if you could summarize 20% of the line items that made up 80% of that 1.9, where did it come from? Because the question that typically gets asked, well, me, where did you come up with 1.9? Well, I could show them the spreadsheet, but if you could use, it's a Pareto, if 20% of the line items made up at least 80% of that budget, that would be helpful at some point. Pleasure of the board. I mean, I've looked at the spreadsheet. It's really, I'd rather have a summary if you have time sometime. Any other questions? All right, now we'll say it. Now we'll say it's complete. Number 2, finance technology. Anything to report out, Commissioner Cook?
I've made enough comments today, sorry.
I feel exhausted myself. How about technology? No report. All right, moving on to building and grounds. Commissioner
So I'm leaving
Roots
now.
or Cook?
You know. No report. How about you there, Mr. Cook?
No, I'm fine.
Back to you, sir.
All right, and personnel?
So I have a question.
Yes.
I was assigned to the Personnel Committee, and in an effort to get myself up to speed on what I was responsible for, because there have been a couple of things that come before the board on, like for instance, today when the young lady was making the presentation and her board had already approved changes to their policy manual. But I'm assuming that that stuff has to come before us at some point in time. I looked at other communities, and I know Lapeer has their personnel committee guidelines, what you cover and what you don't cover and how that's operated, posted on their website. So I pulled out our little book here, Board of Rules of Order, and I didn't see personnel committee in here. It's got grievance committee, and it says what the grievance committee's responsibilities are. But it doesn't say anything about personnel committee. It says the chairman can assign other committees as such, but I always see personnel. I never see grievance, yet we have grievance listed in our book and no personnel. So I just wanted to know what all is it I'm supposed to be overseeing or looking at or checking? I know there are some concerns that I had initially with performance evaluations and some questions on job description, because I heard a couple of people say at different times when I was not on the council, that's not in my job description, and in my history, I always put a little plug line there at the bottom, whatever you're asked to do, other duties and assignments.
All other duties as
So what are the responsibilities that I'm supposed to be for? Because I don't want somebody to ask me for the 20
Vice Chair?
questions and not be prepared to answer it.
I can answer the one with Amanda. That coming, because me and Commissioner Vaughn are on the Health Department board, and they bring that to the Health Department board, and then like today, Amanda comes to this board and says, hey, the Health Department board said this, but so is it okay with the commissioners? So that's why she was here saying, okay, the Health Department board already said yes, but it's finally up to this board.
Right.
So
What
if that
about
helps
ours?
you.
What about ours? I mean, what are the responsibilities of the personnel committee? Since I'm chairperson, I would like to know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Chairman Vaughn, are you still on virtual?
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I'm here. Nancy, I mean, you and I are on the personnel board. That involves, if there's people that are being hired inside the controller's office and we're doing interviews and stuff, being on the personnel board, we're in charge of like sitting in on the interviews and stuff like that. If there's personnel issues between people that, have done something or whatever, that's something else that we as on the personnel committee would be brought into. Anything to do with employees or something like that is our responsibility. And, we have really nothing right now that combats with that, but that's what that's all about. So if there's something that comes up, you'll be notified of a meeting, a get together or whatever for, to go over different issues or whatever if we're having any.
So does the personnel,
Does that clear that up a little bit for you, Nancy?
the chairman, Mr. Chairman, does the grievance committee come under personnel, or is that a separate committee, or what is that?
Well, that can come under the personnel. You know, if there's somebody that works for the county that files a grievance or whatever, yeah, that can come under the personnel also. You know, if it needs to, it goes really into the HR, and it's up to the HR, you know, to bring the personnel committee into it if need be. But that could fall under in some circumstances, yes.
Is there a reason why we don't have that summary in here? In our rules of order,
What's the date on the?
23?
Well, we don't have the finance committee in there either, do we?
It says statutory.
There's nothing there about the finance committee. That's just,
It just says board chair shall appoint commissions to various boards. It's got grievance committee, statutory.
Right,
finance. And I
right, which we do.
went searching
Right.
for communities, and I know that Lapeer has theirs posted online, what the duties of the different communities are. Just wondered. Didn't want to be in the dark.
If I may just add a little bit, Chairman, it seems like the intent of that, and that's a 23 version, was that the chairman would assign as needed, like the personnel doesn't meet regularly, finance doesn't typically meet regularly. The ones that we have listed in our agenda typically meet as needed or as required, and they basically cover areas that financial impact to the county. So in terms of the grievance, and as the chairman explained, I don't know, chairman is somewhat assigned as the situation arrives. But we've both been on personnel over the years, and it's not a regular meeting. But when it comes to the committee of the whole, it can capture any and all of those, depending on the topics on the agenda. So I don't know.
Exactly right.
Does that sound sufficient? Okay. Well, I took a shot at it.
Right.
All right.
Vice Chair. Erica, could
Right.
Building and Grounds, Commissioner Lutz is supposed to be the committee leader, not me.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
You know, I saw that, but I wasn't going to say anything.
You know, he caught that right away too. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Because Director Miller doesn't like me, so I don't want to be the leader.
No problem. I'll take care of that. Now, when it comes to finance and technology, Commissioner Bargill, you're still the leader of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There
And
was no
then-
question at that.
And then Personnel Committee, is that Commissioner Vaughn or Commissioner Barrios is the leader?
I think he named me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I think he.
Commissioner Barrios, I
Ask him
thought.
Ask
for-
him, he's right
ask him
there.
For clarification.
Commissioner Vaughn?
It's probably on a smoke break.
Yes.
Who is the leader of the committee, the Personnel Committee? Is it you or is it Commissioner Barrios?
Commissioner Barrios.
Okay, I'll make that correction as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
No problem.
All right. Are we all through with the reports? Let's move on to, is there any other business that's necessary come before the board? Any other business that's necessary? Hearing or seeing none, we're going to move into public comment period. Is there anyone like to address the board? Public comment, just if you would, come to the podium, state your name and the township. So it's open for public comment.
Russell Spears, Ellington Township Supervisor. Wanted to let this board know that Ellington Township is favorable as far as covering costs for rumble strips, flashing lights, whatever we can do to improve safety in the township. Maybe over the months, you've heard some things where where that has come from was shortly after the accident. I'd reached out to the road commission saying township would be willing to pay for rumble strips in a way to get conversation started or to get some action, because Ellington Township wants to see some action. With that said, I want to reflect back to maybe 8 or 9 years ago, shortly after I became supervisor of Ellington Township. Ellington Township sued Ellington Township. Planning Commission versus Township Board. It can seem silly on the surface. But there was a board, maybe defiant to another one, or, there was conflict and we needed clarification. I think there's been, I believe the road commission has showed defiance one level or another, and also where authority ultimately lies, they still haven't seemed to want to cooperate and work with others very well. So given that information, maybe this is me personally more speaking right now, but I personally would be favorable in thinking and seeing some value in if it comes to legal action as far as what to do with the road commission board. Some may criticize that as wasteful spending, but there's clear unknowns with authority, even with the attorneys, and taking those steps will force attorneys and I'll say us as a community to figure that out one way or another. And I feel like if this county board was to prevail, if this went to a lawsuit and it would to prevail, my limited understanding of that would be because the board commission is elected. If you were to prevail, I think it would still have to then be an election on whether that board. So it just comes down to money. Is it worth maybe some legal expenses to get clarity? In my personal opinion, I think it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Anyone else? Public comment?
Joanna Samuelson, City of Carroll. I wanted to get a little clarification because I heard Commissioner Barrios talk about the notes that she had from her meetings out there. And it sounded like data was hard to get and that they had a 7-year kind of like, some people are waiting 7 years to get studies done. Was that correct on that? For shame, for shame. So if they had to move that up, perhaps it would be worth hiring somebody outside of waiting for them to get the data collected. That might be an expense that would be worth it. And I appreciate Sheriff Robinson's information, the data he brought, but I wondered who asked for that data. You did, and you got it quickly. So I'm glad to hear that because, it's been 4 months, not 7 years. So that's quick, so that we can get something done. But when I sit and listen to this and go out to the road commissioner meetings, and I haven't been to all of them, it sounds like they are avoiding responsibility and they're avoiding accountability, which are two different things. Now, I want to know how many of the road commissioner people are elected. Can I get an answer? I don't know. Are they all elected on the road commission board?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
Okay.
all elected.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that and I wanted to know that. But when they're elected, who do they serve?
They serve the people.
Thank you. That's what I thought, just as all of you guys do, right? Have the people not been begging for them to come here so that we can hear things too? And I know you guys only have, not only, but that financial oversight. Well, that's all part of it. And they don't want to step up their game and spend $22,000 to heal some very public wounds. And this next piece is going to be hearsay on my part, but I had a good friend sitting at the last road commission meeting, and they said, oh, the reason that the commissioner board's only interested is because the Putnams are famous. I don't believe that to be true. But if that's where they're coming from, then there's a real problem, because even famous people deserve justice in this world. They deserve to have the roads safe. And I really want to thank Commissioner Cook for saying, we got to finally do something, because the can's been kicked a lot. And I know Commissioner Lutz is like going, I've got, intersections in my area too. And the whole thing about, oh, we got to take the Amish into consideration because of their horses. Have not the Amish been killed in these intersections? Oh, is that any different than the potholes that we have to drive by all the time? Come on, folks. One's a safety measure and one is a road hazard. The Amish can slow their horses down too and walk over those rumble strips. I've been a horse owner. That can happen. Not only that, I remember Sheriff Robinson saying, this is how many people we have that can go out and do patrol. Those are where we have active things. We need things that can be passive. That means the rumble strips. That means the flashing lights. And you're not going to end distracted drivers unless you get their attention. Those are attention grabbers. So yes, we have an issue with distracted drivers and drivers driving too fast. Absolutely. I think we need to look at what we can do that's passive that can help, because you can't expect a police officer to sit on every corner and try to do citations that people just go, whatever. We need more of the passive stuff, and the funds are there. Ellington Township is Ellington, right, saying we'll pay for it. The private sector saying we'll pay for it. And I'm glad to hear that some of that volleyball stuff is stopping and you're finally starting to take action. And I really am appreciative that my family, who travels those roads all the time, all over the county, will feel safer with even these small measures. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address the board?
My name is Greg Campbell, Ellington Township. I'm also on the township board. I echo what Supervisor Spears said, that we're willing to support financially if necessary. I'd also like to say I was at the road commission meeting, and Commissioner Barrios, you threw her to the wolves. And she did a fine job though. And that's my first run-in with the board out there. And they were, I would say, hostile towards her and very disrespectful. And you all put an ultimatum out to them to show here and see who showed up. Disrespectful. And they're out of control out there from what I can see. And I know you don't want to pick the fight, but I think it needs to be picked. As far as the intersections and stuff, why do we need to wait till April for glue-on road strip or rumble strips? Why can't we go out there with a grinder? I'll go out there with a grinder today. I'll flag the intersection for you. Let's grind some strips in there and get it done. Because the distracted driving is just killing people out here. And if it's not killing them, it's maiming them. And we don't have to go just to the Putnam family or the Amish community. It happens. I've witnessed it. Had I not been alert to tell my driver, they're not stopping, because they didn't stop, I'd be probably a statistic right now. And I understand Sheriff Robinson and the state police, they're strapped. And I'm going to pick on the state police. I understand they're not here, but twice I've been in a vehicle, twice, where we were pulled over for tinted windows. I understand it's against the law, or unless you have I understand that. But could we not better allocate our resources to pulling a guy over downtown for tinted windows and maybe just the presence? Saw a police car go down Hertz Corner. I saw a police car go down Bevins Road. That presence alone would the community would know that you're out there, and maybe they would behave better, because as these statistics show on these speeds, at 70 or 80 mile an hour, 250 yards from the stop sign, you're probably not stopping. No, you're just not going to. And I understand with their limited resources, they can't be everywhere. But something has to be done. Yeah, and I hope that this commission will step up and quit kicking the can. That commission, road commission out there, they're not gonna do anything. It's clear. I mean, it's just, I mean, even though they've changed leadership, I don't get the sense that that's gonna change of how they behave. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Virtually or in the boardroom? Hearing or seeing none virtually or in the boardroom. On behalf of the board, we thank you for your comments and insight. We always appreciate you coming in and giving us your thoughts from different perspectives. And today you've sat through a lot of those perspectives, so we appreciate that. We wish you the best for the next few days till we join again on Thursday. If you do come back, outside that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. Support.
Moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Luce to adjourn at 10:15 or so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.